5 minutes to go to the start of racing this morning. And once again, just absolutely stunning conditions. With 5 minutes to go, Richie, tell us, how is it looking out on the course?
Absolutely flat, calm. It was quite blustery the earlier days that we were here when training was taking place, but that wind has dropped down now. It's like glass out here. Really calm conditions and ideal. It's a little bit cooler as well. We are up early to get racing underway, but it's nice and cool out on the water. There's a little bit of shade as well over on the far lanes. That'll help the crews when they're making their way down. So all raring to go here, and I'm sure up at the start, those women's single sculls are feeling the same. Looking forward to getting World Cup 1 underway.
Yeah, the international season just about to begin. BNV, 5 minutos.
Yes, en 5 minutos vamos a empezar. Sean bienvenidos de nuevo. Nos encontramos a tan solo ese tiempo de empezar a transmitir en directo. Les invitamos a acomodarse para disfrutar de una gran jornada de competición. Atención al público local. España sale con todo buscando el podio en el río Guadalquivir. Participa con 7 equipos. Hagan ruido en la grada, los deportistas lo van a agradecer. Quédense con nosotros, comenzamos en breve.
Okay. Bueno, soy Moreno, me presento. He sido remero ligero y tengo la suerte de compartir con todo el mundo del remo unas jornadas de la Copa del Mundo que prometen ser espectaculares. El río se ha vestido con sus mejores galas. Vamos a tener una participación extraordinaria y nos vamos a encontrar con un marco en el que los mejores remeros del mundo van a dar lo mejor de sí y necesitarán todo nuestro apoyo desde la grada y todos los cuerpos técnicos que han venido a apoyarles.
Well, the first race of the day is underway. That's the women's single sculls. It's Heat 1, first race of the day. And, individual neutral athlete Maria Zovna. We have Alexander Foster of Germany, Aurelia Maxima Katarina Janssen of Switzerland. For Romania, Bianca Camila Ifteni and Fiona Murtagh of Ireland, a name that certainly folks will know. They're on the course. The race is underway in the early goings, just off the line. And we'll look forward to picking it up in just a bit. Just a few quick notes. Well, Ireland, perhaps no surprise, Murtagh taking off really quickly at 41 strokes per minute. Romania running up there as well, about 39, 40 strokes per minute for Ifteni. And then Switzerland, about 34, over to Germany, 38 or so, and then 37 for Zovna. And, just about 200, 300, coming up to the 400 meter down. Early lead for Janssen of Switzerland, and that's the one. Then back to Murtagh of Ireland, and over to Foster of Germany. And Richie, that's the 1, 2, 3, but of course still early goings.
Yeah, I'm sure the nerves will be settling down now. We've got our first race underway. Stacked field in this women's single sculls with so much medals at under 23, under 19, and also the seniors as well. Leading the way, Fiona Murtagh of Ireland with that debut season last year in the single, took 2 silver medals and then took that World Championship in Shanghai last year. She's at second place at the moment. Janssen of Switzerland leading it out, coming through 500. Back then to Foster, another under 23 medalists. They're the 1, 2, and 3. The young Ifteni from Romania, also a medalist at under 19, in fourth at the minute. A little bit off the pace is Zovna of individual neutral athletes, back in fifth as they came through the 500. Looking good so far here for the Swiss sculler. She's down at 30 strokes per minute. The other crews all racing about 34, 35 strokes per minute, but she's opened up a little bit of clear water. It was about 3 seconds coming through that 500 meter mark, and as they come towards 1,000, we'll get that other marker to see how they're faring, but looking good so far. Switzerland leading it out, Ireland in second place. They're starting to stretch out. These two looking good, but Foster, such a strong performance in the last number of seasons. I'm sure she's going to be in the mix as well. 2 to qualify, as well as those fastest times. So they're not just racing for the positions, they're racing against the clock as well. And we're just going to check as they come through that 1,000 meter mark any second now and see how they're doing and get the official results and standings. But it's still Janssen moving on. Now Fiona Murtagh starts to eat back into the lead. There's just 0.02 of a second between first and second. So Fiona Murtagh of Ireland moving into second, from second, coming right up on the neck of Janssen, and Foster back in third.
Bueno, parece que a los 1000 metros de regata ya hay 2 remeras que están claramente más destacadas sobre el resto de las competidoras. Serían Máxima Catarina de Suiza y Fiona Murtagh de Irlanda. Ya parece que van sacando una distancia que en regatas internacionales puede ser bastante relevante y que a ellas le darías el pase directo a la semifinal. Luego ya para el tercer y cuarto puesto van más igualadas, aunque por delante Alessandra Foster de Alemania y Bianca Camelia Ifteni de Rumanía, que estaría un segundo y medio pues, de la alemana, ya un poco más descolgada, pero nunca se puede descartar en absoluto en el remo internacional, pues a Marila Zomner, remera neutral, países, remera del mundo.
So there's 4 crews in the mix here in the top 5. It is just individual neutral athlete sculler just a little off the pace back in fifth at the moment, but we're seeing Fiona Murtagh take hold of the race coming through in this 500. She's moved into the lead ahead of Janssen from Switzerland. They're the 1 and 2. The 1500 metre mark is coming up shortly, but there's just overlap of the boats between second, third and fourth. Foster of Germany and Iftini of Romania still very much within striking distance of the second qualifying spot. 1500 metre mark coming up now, and it is Fiona Murtagh opening up clear water. She's nearest to us on our commentary position. There's about a length of clear water ahead now of Janssen in second, half a length just back then to the sculler from Switzerland, Janssen Foster. There's only half a length between them, and making a move now is Romania coming into the mix.
Bueno, vemos que la superioridad de la remera irlandesa, Fiona Murtagh, pues que prácticamente asegura, salvo una sorpresa que no creo que se dé, el primer puesto en la regata, y luego para el segundo pues sigue la suiza Máxima Catarina Janssen, y bueno, sigue la pugna para el tercer y cuarto puesto entre Alessandra Foester y Camelia Ifteni.
So looking good for Ireland to get that first qualifying spot, stretching out the lead, Fiona Murtagh. Good second half of the race here to move with clear water coming into roads, the run into the finish. But all eyes on that second qualifying spot. Switzerland, Germany, Romania, all within a length of each other. And coming into your view there shortly, Colleen, you'll be able to see who's going to get that second spot. And I'm sure racing side by side, they're pushing each other on for those fast times as well.
Yeah, it's ever so close, isn't it, as we take a look at, well, Switzerland, Germany, and Romania, not to be left out just on their tails, with indeed a great second half for Fiona Murtagh. And of course, with the progression system remaining the same as last year, the top two in each heat and the next fastest crews across all heats progressing to the next round. There's no repechage any longer, so getting it right is critical.
Así es, estamos ya a los últimos 250 metros. Recordarles que independientemente de la clasificación por puestos, hay 4 plazas que se deciden por tiempos y ahí está la lucha entre la segunda, tercera y cuarta plaza.
Into the final stretch now, and it is Fiona Murtagh of Ireland again with that big second half to capture that first qualifying position. Looking really good for Germany at the moment. That's Alexander Foster just ahead of the Swiss sculler by, well, about a half a length or so as they come through the line. So fabulous second half for Ireland. A really nice sprint from Foster. We've seen that certainly from her in the past as we await those times to roll in, with Switzerland coming in third. And once again, first race of the morning, ever so important in these heats to just get it absolutely right if you can, knowing that there are no repechage. There is no repechage, there are no second chances, kind of elevating the importance of the heats. So we'll await those unofficial times. And just starting to roll in now, so confirming Fiona Murtagh at a 7:37.3. And then that second qualifying position, Alexander Foster of Germany. And back to Janssen of Switzerland. Third over to Romania to capture fourth, Bianca Camilla Ifteni. And then finally, the individual neutral athlete, Maria Zovna, to take that fifth position in the first heat, the women's single sculls. And Richie, we understand there's a race fast and furious underway.
Yeah, already through the 500 metre and the 1,000 metre mark is the second heat of the women's single sculls. Through the 500 metre mark, Tara Rigney was leading it out ahead of Senkute of Lithuania, but the positions have changed at the 1,000 metres. It's now Senkute, fourth at last year's World Championships, leading it out just by half a second ahead of Tara Rigney. Coached by Alfie Young, my pal from Cork Boat Club, is here coaching Tara Rigney from Australia, back on the scene after taking some time out. Back in third place, it is Gilbert of Belgium. Then we have Bergdorf of Germany and Meekin of Switzerland bringing in the fifth position. They are stretched out quite a lot as they come up towards the 1,500 metre mark. Senkute, Rigney, Gilbert are the three that are in contention here for 2 qualifying spots, but looking good for Senkute.
Bueno, en esta segunda eliminatoria de esquí absoluto femenino vemos igualmente que las dos primeras posiciones parecen estar definidas, ya que tanto la lituana Victorija Senkute y Tara Rigney pues llevan ya una marcada distancia sobre la tercera posición, que sería para la belga Mazarin Gilbert. A las dos primeras competidoras de Australia y Lituania les aseguraría el pase a las semifinales. Las otras competidoras, pues es importante que lo den todo para esa clasificación por tiempos. En última distancia estaría un poquitín más descolgada pues la suiza Sofia Miking, que ya tendría menos opciones.
So Lithuania strides out here, opening up clear water ahead of Australia. They're the 1 and 2. And again, clear water back then to Belgium. Gilbert should be racing against the clock to see if she can get one of those fastest times. They're down to the last few hundred meters, and I think she'll run out of water to get back into contention for the second qualifying spot. So far looking good. Lithuania, Australia, Belgium, they're the 1, 2 and 3. Further back then to Germany and Switzerland in 4th and 5th. Well off the pace at the moment as they come in towards the finish. No doubt about it here. The 4th place from last year's World Championship, Victoria Senkute of Lithuania, leading it out ahead of Tara Rigney. They're looking good for the qualifying spots, looking to join Ireland and Germany from the previous heats as they run in towards the finish. It's going to be Lithuania and Australia.
Yeah, looking really good for Lithuania, isn't it? Just a really sophisticated race down at 30 strokes per minute for Senkute. Perhaps no surprise there. Loads of space over the rest of the field. Lithuania then continuing to lead. And just behind, well, I think Australia under threat from Belgium.
Estamos a los últimos 200 metros de la llegada. Se igualó mucho la segunda posición entre Australia y Bélgica. Claramente la primera posición para Lituania y veremos esa segunda posición que garantiza el pase a semifinal.
Coming into the closing meters, and yes, what a big push for Belgium. Absolutely incredible. Mazarin Guibert, big push in the final 500 meters just to get her bow up ahead. No doubt about it, it's Lithuania up at the top. Senkute first to cross the line, but incredible last 500 meters from the Belgian sculler to make sure that she captures that second qualifying position, which pushes Australia into third. And that's the 1, 2, 3 as the remaining crews finish in these final few strokes. That's Charlotte Bergdorf of Germany now through the line, and over on the far side, Sophia Mieken to round us out from Switzerland. We'll head back to the course where I understand, Richie, the next race is underway.
Underway and through 500 meters, heat 3 of the women's single sculls, and through 500 meters is Lutani of France who's leading it out just by a little bit of clear water there ahead of Roos de Jong of the Netherlands and Sonja Hospers of the Netherlands. They're the 1, 2 and 3. Brazil in 5th place ahead then of Caroline Florin and Jacine. Just looking for the stats to come through to get the boat speed there. They've gone through 500 meters. Really interesting here that Roos de Jong and Beatrice Tavares of the Netherlands and Brazil made their international debuts against each other in 2011 in the under-19 doubles. They're back here racing again in 2026, racing against each other here in the Heat 3. We did have a laugh about the 3 Dutch scullers in the boat here, so we're saving the Dutch crew, Dutch coaches cycling up and down for multiple races because they can follow the 3 that they have in contention here in this third heat. Still leading it out, it looks like it is the French sculler moving from the quad and the double into the single. She was 5th in last year's World Championships in the double, now racing the single here and leading it out, and it's all to play for the other positions, but at the moment it still looks like Roos de Jong in second place, these 1 and 2 as they come up towards the 1,000 meter mark.
Bueno, pues en esta eliminatoria parece también que las posiciones están bien definidas y que vamos a tener tanto en Lunati como en de Jong, pues van a ser las que están liderando las regatas y las que presumiblemente pues van a ir a semifinales claramente. Una remada fácil, una remada en la que se imponen a sus rivales. Y bueno, pues ya un poco más descolgadas y ya con menos opción estarían Beatriz Tavares y Sonja Hospers, también de Holanda. Y reiteramos, tanto Emma Lunati como Roos de Jong estarían en semifinales, pues la superioridad que están mostrando es manifiesta.
So they're coming through, well through 1,000 meters and coming up towards the 1,500 meter mark. I think the timing system might be a little bit off here on trying to see out on the course what's happening. But it was leading coming through the 1,000 meter mark was Aimé Lutani of France ahead of Roos de Jong coming through 1,500 meters. It looks like it's Beatriz Tavares was the leader, but I'm just trying to see that out on the water and see how they're faring. And again, 2 crews to qualify along with the fastest time, so they will be pushing all the way down the course here to see what's going to get that qualifying spot. But out on the far lane to us it is Aimé Lutani, and it still looks like Roos de Jong. I think the timing system not picking up the fact that Roos de Jong is side by side. These 2 crews well ahead and have clear water back to the chasing pack, and I can just see that it is the Dutch sculler holding off Brazil at the moment, so they're well clear now, and you can hear the coaches probably in the background as they pass us here coming up at that 1,500 meter mark. There's only about a canvas separating the 2 scullers, not even a canvas now as they come through. They've gone through 1,500, and it is Roos de Jong just opening up a lead of a canvas now ahead of Aimé Lutani, our early leader. These are the 1 and 2, well clear back then to Sonja Hospers of the Netherlands back in 3rd place, a little bit half a length then back to Beatriz Tavares. They're the 1, 2, 3, 4. No Caroline Florin out on the water, so it's just 4 scullers here, and again 2 to qualify, but looking good so far for Roos de Jong and Aimé Lutani.
Bueno, pues al paso de los 1.500 metros ya las posiciones están claramente definidas con De Jong y Lunati, la primera de Holanda, la segunda francesa, que han marcado una distancia bastante considerable sobre las 2 rivales, la holandesa Hoster y la brasileña Tavares, y además lo están haciendo tanto De Jong como Lunati con un remo fácil. Van las 2 muy parejas en tiempo y parece ya que se están casi como recreando en la remada, que lo están haciendo fenomenal.
So it was Lutani of France who had led the race, first 1,000 meters. But as they went into the second half of the race, Roos de Jong picked up the lead and now powers on towards the finish. These 2, Colleen, well clear of the chasing pack of Netherlands and Brazil.
Yeah, they're keeping it really interesting for us up at the top of the pack. Indeed, that's the 1-2. So these 2 athletes in a position to qualify, Lunati of France and De Jong of the Netherlands. But as you mentioned, trading positions. So coming in toward the last stretch, it is Roos de Jong currently holding that 1st place position.
Sí, tenemos últimos metros y tenemos a De Jong en la primera posición, Lunati de Francia en la segunda posición, y estábamos esperando esta regata porque también estaba la campeona olímpica Florin, que al final no tomó la salida.
Roos de Jong of the Netherlands first across the line. We'll have to keep an eye on her in subsequent rounds because that's a big second half and big final 500 meters. She captures the first qualifying position, followed by Aimé Lutani of France. And then in their final few strokes out of lane 4, it's Sonja Hospers of the Netherlands and back to Beatriz Tavares of Brazil. Out on the course, we've got another race underway, Richie, so we'll head straight back up to you.
Straight back to the action here, and coming through for the last heat of the women's single sculls, heat 4. Just 4 competitors here. We have Great Britain, Italy, Peru, and the Netherlands. And when they came through the 500-meter mark, no surprise, Lauren Henry, multiple gold medalist, and that silver at the World Championships last year, leading it out in 1st place, well ahead of the Italian sculler Sauer in 2nd place again. Further back, looks like Bente Boostra in the mix in 2nd and 3rd as well. They came through the 500, and then the Peruvian sculler back in 4th place. So 3 very much in the mix here, but no doubt about the lead. Lauren Henry striding out, opening up clear water in that first 500 meters and dominating the race already. Looking to see if she can get in touching distance, I'm sure, over the next few days of that world's best time that was set in 2002. She came in with 0.03 of a second of that time last year, and I'm sure not only the gold medal will be in her sight, but also that world's fastest time if it comes along the journey towards that podium as well. She's leading it out. Boonstra of the Netherlands is in 2nd place, world champion in the double scull last year, now moving into the single. And this is what we love about the World Cup regattas as well. We see different combinations with crews moving from the bigger boats to smaller boats. We've even some crews racing here, sculling and sweep rowing at the same event. We'll give you those details when the races come up. But this is what we love about the World Cup regattas, that it is such a chance to see new combinations as well. So that is Boonstra of Netherlands moving from the double into the single and seeing how she'll fare against the world's best. Lauren Henry leading it out through the 1,000-metre mark still, and starts to push on and open up more of a lead ahead of Boonstra. They're the 1 and 2, but Sauer of Italy is within striking distance, just half a length separating Italy and Netherlands for that second qualifying spot, and further off the pace, back in 4th place at the moment, it's Peru.
Bueno, llegado ya a los 1000 metros de regata, ya vemos que la excelente remera británica Lauren Henry ha puesto agua de por medio, prácticamente más de 6 segundos sobre la segunda clasificada en este momento, que sería Bente Bonstan de Holanda. Pero vemos que para la segunda posición pues hay una reñida regata entre esta remera holandesa y la italiana Anna Sauer, ya que entre ellas media un segundo y quedando todavía 1000 metros, pues está claro que todavía tienen opciones las dos de llegar a esa segunda posición que da acceso a las semifinales. Ya más descolgada, pues está la peruana Adriana Sanguinetti, que bueno, a alabar su esfuerzo para estar en esta regata y hacer lo mejor posible.
They're making their way towards the 1,500-metre mark, and Lauren Henry still dominating the race here. We saw her dominate last season as well, winning the gold medal at World Cup 1, World Cup 2, and the Europeans. Just been pipped at the line by Fiona Murta at the World Championships last year. 0.03 of a second, I think, was the distance between them there. But she'll be looking to dominate this season again, and that's what she's doing, leading it out by more than 6-7 seconds coming into the second half of the race here. She's not taking the foot off the gas as she powers down towards that 1,500-metre mark. In second then, Bente Boonstra, another multiple medalist in contention here for the second qualifying spot, but the Italian sculler mostly rowing in sea finals over the last number of seasons and doing a bit of coastal rowing, is just within half a length, maybe a length of water to get back into contention. But you'd imagine the Dutch sculler Bente Boonstra will be able to relax. She can look over to her right and see if the threat is coming from the Italian sculler, and as they come down to the last quarter, she'll know that that qualifying spot is 1 foot she has in that quarter final, and she just needs to power on towards the finish here. But no doubt about the leader, it's still continuing to be Lauren Henry dominating the race from Great Britain.
Bueno, pues tal como venía sucediendo hasta los 1000 metros, la superioridad de la remera británica Henry, conocido por todos, manifiesta, lleva más de 9 segundos a los 1500 metros, y ya incluso para la segunda plaza, pues que entre la neerlandesa Bonstra y la italiana Sauer, ya parece ser que en estos terceros 500 metros la holandesa ha apretado la remada y se ha distanciado claramente de la italiana, con lo cual los dos primeros puestos están ya bastante claros, eso parece.
So finishing out the heats of the women's singles sculls, Lauren Henry, a familiar sight. The finish line is in sight for her. She powers towards that last 250.
Yeah, the final 250, and Lauren Henry looking so dominant as she has since the start of this race. Fantastic pedigree, as Richie mentioned, from Lauren Henry of Great Britain. She's clearly in control, and then, well, Bente Boonstra holding on to that second qualifying position. Once again, the progression, it's 1 and 2 to each heat to directly qualify, and thereafter the 4 fastest times of the remaining crews across all of the heats. So the remaining 2 scullers certainly still have something to prove in these final closing stages.
Estamos ya en los últimos 100 metros de la regata. La inglesa favorita está en primera posición. También la segunda plaza tenemos a la holandesa, Países Bajos. Claramente estas dos pasan a la semifinal.
Lauren Henry through the line for Great Britain. Absolutely dominant performance, followed by Bente Boonstra of the Netherlands. That's Netherlands 3. Again, 4 entered into this event. And in the final few strokes, then it's back to Anna Sara Sophie Sara of Italy, and of Peru, Adriana Sanguinetti in her closing stages as well of the Heat 4, the final heat of the women's single sculls. Richie will head straight back into the action with you on the course.
just about caught our breath after those heats of the women's single sculls, and we moved on to the men's race. Heat 1 between Argentina, Greece, Spain, Slovenia, Japan and Brazil is well underway. Through the 500-meter mark, Stefanos Tuskus was leading it out ahead of Garcia Pujolar of Spain. They were the 1 and 2, but it's all changed. Well, not all changed. It's changed a little bit as they come through the 1,000-meter mark now, because the local Spanish sculler has moved into the lead ahead of Greece in second place. They're the 1 and 2. Pfeiffer of Slovenia back in third place, and then it's Japan, Brazil and Argentina in fourth, fifth and sixth. Again, 2 to qualify here, and the 14 fastest times over all the heats will be looking to advance onto the quarterfinals as well. But a real battle here between 3 scullers up at the lead between Spain, Greece and Slovenia. There's just about 2 seconds separating them, so they're overlapping when they came through the 1,000-meter mark. But popular, I'm sure, and lots of local encouragement as the Spanish sculler taking the lead ahead of Greece.
Bueno, a los 1000 metros de regata nos encontramos con que las 2 primeras posiciones estarían ocupadas por, bueno, el primer español que compite en esta mañana y en la competición, Alex García y Pujolar, que iría liderando la regata, pero prácticamente con el mismo tiempo con una auténtica leyenda del remo, Stefanos Tsitsipas, el griego, que los dos irían para las 2 primeras posiciones, que deberían pasar a las semifinales, y de cerca nos encontramos al noveno Pfeiffer, Philipp Matek, que estaría a segundo y medio de los 2 primeros remeros que antes hemos mencionado. Nos aproximamos ya a los 1500 metros.
So the Spanish sculler with lots of encouragement, including the coaches cycling down the bank as well, coming up to that 1,500-meter mark. He strides out here and looking to open up clear water. So this is really dominant from the Spanish sculler. 4th in the double last year at the World Championships, but no stranger to A finals and multiple medals in the double and the quad. Now racing the single, he's got about half a length of clear water ahead then of the Slovenian sculler in second place, and again looking to open up more of a lead, these 1 and 2, but they're not having it their own way, because Tuskus of Greece within striking distance, but is looking a little bit laboured over in third place at the moment. The Brazilian sculler and Argentinian sculler putting pressure on Tuskus of Greece, and then the only sculler off the pace at the moment, it's the Argentinian sculler at the moment back in 6th place, but all to play for those leading spots in second place.
Bueno, una grata sorpresa para el remo español ver ese liderato a los 1500 metros contundente, con una remada fuerte y que prácticamente pues se sitúa en la semifinal, que no pase nada extraño. Quizás el cambio más importante en estos terceros 500 metros ha sido pues que Pfeiffer, el esloveno, pues ha superado a Stefanos Tsitsipas, y en principio pues a salvo una subida espectacular del remero griego, las 2 primeras plazas parecen claras, sobre todo la de Alex García Pujolar.
So Colleen coming into view, perfect chevron as they come in towards the finish, leading it out with a popular sculler from Spain leading the way.
Sí, vaya, España.
Sí, efectivamente, tenemos a Alex García en la primera posición. No es una sorpresa, es un remero del doble school que ha estado en muchas finales, fue cuarto en los Juegos, quinto en los Juegos Olímpicos, y está liderando la prueba, seguido por el remero de Eslovenia, y en tercera posición el griego. Esto asegura el pase a semifinales de los 2 primeros participantes.
Well, what a fantastic finish for Spain in this first heat. Absolutely incredible from Garcia Pujolar, first to cross through the line. And, well, just a dominant performance. We saw that move about 500 meters in, where he moved into that first place position, with Slovenia capturing that second qualifying position. Philipp Pfeiffer of Slovenia. That's the 1-2. And again, top 2 to advance directly, with the time still being critically important, knowing that the heat times matter to get to the subsequent rounds. So it's Argentina to take 3rd, then over to Greece in 4th, back to Japan in 5th, and Brazil to take 6th. Richie will head straight back to you onto the course.
Straight back to the action with Heat 2. They went through the 1,000-meter mark, and it was Petevari Molnar of Hungary leading it out ahead of Zalati of the individual neutral athletes. They were the 1 and 2. Zeka of Denmark in 3rd place ahead of Zain from Croatia in 4th. And then it's Argentina and Iraq in 5th and 6th, a little further off the place. A dominant display from Petevari Molnar, no stranger to the podium, did come 15th in the World Championships last year, as well as a lot of success in the 25 and 24 season, looking to dominate the race here. But of course he has Zatni, the individual neutral athlete, came 3rd at the World Championships and won gold at the Europeans last year, and of course is our silver medalist from Paris. So a lot of multiple medals and A finals across the board, including World Cups for Zlatny. He's looking solid in 2nd and looking to get back into contention with the Hungarian sculler. These two starting to move ahead, but in striking distance. Zeka of Denmark in with a chance as well. 8th in the World Championships last year, B final. 7th at the Europeans in the 4. Now focusing in on the single and looking good, and will try get into the mix into those qualifying finals using the fastest time. They're down to the last 500. Just to mention, David Zain of Croatia back in 4th place at the moment. Made his debut in 2006, still racing here at the World Championship. Fantastic to see him back in the mix as well. But looking good so far. It's Hungary and individual neutral athletes.
Bueno, parece que las dos primeras plazas están claras para el húngaro Peterbari y para el remero de país neutral, Zalati, que ya marcan las distancias. Sobre la tercera posición Seker, y estas dos primeras posiciones pues les daría tanto al remero del neutral como al húngaro el pase a cuartos de final, ¿de acuerdo? Sería el pase, pero las posiciones parecen ya claras.
So running towards the finish, they're powering in towards the line here. All eyes on Petevari Molnar of Hungary, leading it out as he head from the very start of this race here. Zalati pushing pressure on him all the time, coming down to the finish line. These two looking good. Secker within striking distance. Colleen, how are they looking to get those qualifying spots?
Yeah, Zalati, big final quarter from Zalati, looking like he's out in the lead as they come into the final stretch, looking really good for Zalati, and then back to Hungary.
Sí, parece clara la posición para primera y segunda plaza, pero este tipo de competición clasifican los dos primeros, son 10 clasificados, y luego hay 14 los 14 mejores tiempos. Y ahí está la gran jornada de la mañana.
Big push for Zalati, cruising through with that bow number 3, first across the line. So a bit of a patient race strategy, and then able to edge his bow ahead just in these closing stages. And then to capture that second qualifying position, it is Petevari Molnar of Hungary. Those are the two to advance directly on, once again with the times sorting out the remaining qualifying positions as Croatia comes through the line to capture 4th. That's David Sain, and over to lane 4, Iraq, and back to Argentina to capture that 6th place position in the men's single sculls. Richie, understand that we've got a race underway well now into the second quarter.
I'm glad I had that extra coffee this morning, because we're already onto Heat 3 of the men's single sculls. A good mix of rowers here with different experience. We have the Norwegian sculler who took medals last year at the World Cup Regattas, but we didn't see him feature at the World Championships. He's leading it out through 500 ahead of the Belgian sculler who was 9th in the double, now focusing in on the single in World Cup 1. They were the 1 and 2, and a very familiar name in sculling, Fintan McCarthy of Ireland, coming through 500 metres in 3rd place. These three, just a second separating them, so there was just about a boat length between them and the Argentinian sculler as well, making his international world rowing debut here with us, part of the big Latin America contingent here. He's in 4th, ahead then of Croatia and Venezuela in 5th and 6th. Coming through 1,000 metres, and it's still Hull of Norway leading it out. Fintan McCarthy now moves into second place. These two looking good for 1 and 2 coming through 1,000 meters. Van der Busch from Belgium in third place at the moment, very much within striking distance, was second in the first 500, now in third, but in contention for that second qualifying spot. He faces an uphill battle because the person he'll need to take it from is Fintan McCarthy, who currently sits in second place. Argentina is still holding on to fourth place, ahead then of Croatia and Venezuela. Not much change back in the lower positions, 4th, 5th and 6th, but all eyes are going to be on those three boats battling it out for 2 spots. Norway, Ireland and Belgium coming through the 1,000-meter mark. The lead stays the same with Norway, but it is Ireland now in second ahead of Belgium.
Bueno, una vez pasados los 1.000 metros y ya aproximándose a los 1.500 metros, vemos cómo el noruego Jonas Juel encabeza la regata con relativa facilidad. A unos 2 segundos y pico estaría el irlandés Fintan McCarthy y muy cerquita de él estaría el belga, que para luchar por esa segunda posición que dé paso a los cuartos de final. No hay que olvidar tampoco ni mucho menos al argentino Agustín Escena, que está cerca del belga, y ya más atrás el croata Boskovic y el venezolano Farley Torres, ya más descolgado.
So similar styles with the stroke rate coming down into the last quarter here. There's overlap between the first 4 scullers. It's still Hull of Norway leading it out, but coming under increased pressure now from McCarthy of Ireland in second place and Van der Busch of Belgium in third. The Argentinian sculler Senna very much in touch as well, because he's got overlap with third, but they're down now to the last quarter of the race here. Looking good so far for Hull, but can he hold on to that first position? Because Fintan is winding up towards the line here now. It's Ireland putting pressure on Norway coming in towards the line, but bringing with them the Belgian scullers. So the 1, 2 and 3 coming in towards the finish. Red boys will be coming up soon, so they'll know it's 2:50 to go, and looking good so far for Norway. But Colleen, looking at them as they run in towards the finish, is it Ireland and Belgium putting too much pressure on Norway? Can they hold on to the lead?
Yeah, it's a fantastic race happening just behind the Norwegian, isn't it? Jonas Skjellemark-Juel holding on to that first place position. But as you said, Fintan McCarthy increasing the boat rate and the boat speed. He holds on to second.
Bonita llegada entre las tripulaciones de Noruega e Irlanda por la primera posición. Bélgica parece asegurar el tercer puesto en estos momentos y vemos esa lucha muy bonita entre Noruega e Irlanda para la primera y segunda posición.
Fintan McCarthy challenging for that first place position. It's 2 to advance directly. Norway looking like they have it, but Fintan sending a message in these final few strokes. It is Juel holding on just barely, about a meter or so separating them. And then back well for the first time, McCarthy gets his bow just ahead. It is Ireland now leading in these final few strokes, ever so close between Ireland, Norway, and back to Van den Busch of Belgium to take that third position. So 2 to qualify. Absolutely delighted the Irish fans will be for Fintan McCarthy and Jonas Skjellemark-Juel of Norway. That's the 1, 2. Then back to Tristan Van der Busch of Belgium to take third. And we'll head back up to the start, mid-second quarter, Richie, I understand, for the next heat.
Heat 4 of 5 on its way down and coming through the 500-meter mark. It is a familiar name in sight, leading it out. Olli Zeidler of Germany leading ahead of Lithuania in second and France in third. Great Britain fourth. Hong Kong, China in fifth, and then Spain back in sixth. The thing to note is just how much of a lead that Ollie has opened up here. Germany leading through 500 by 6 seconds, so he's absolutely motoring here. Of course, took second place at the World Championships last year when he was going, in his own words, part-time while he focused on his studies. Back now into the mix. Did some training we saw on social media with the Swiss team. I think over the last few weeks saw some amazing footage of him paddling out on the water, and seems to have done him well because he's now opened up the lead by 9 seconds, 9.5 seconds, back to Lamoureux of France, who moves into second. Lithuania in third. Great Britain holding on to fourth ahead of Spain and Hong Kong. China now pushed back into sixth place as they came through the 1,000 metre. But looking good for Zeidler, leading it out here. Germany ahead of France, but the battle between France and Lithuania will be interesting to see. The French sculler normally racing in quads and in doubles, now in the single for World Cup 1, testing the water to see how he's going to get on, holding on to second at the moment, moving from third place in the previous 500. And the Lithuanian sculler, used to seeing him in the B and C finals, now in the mix here as well to get into the quarterfinals. So all to play for the second qualifying spot, but no doubt about the leader, familiar name in sight, Germany leading it out.
Bueno, esta eliminatoria nos trae, por supuesto, al gran remero alemán, Oliver Zeidler, que evidentemente pues está imponiendo su hegemonía en la regata con una remada fácil, poderosa, en la que se va destacando sobre los demás rivales. Y además se le ve remar y es que parece que no le cuesta, vamos, que va avanzando solo. En segunda posición tendríamos al francés Joan Lamiral, compitiendo con el lituano Dovydas Neverizavicius, que estaría en tercera posición, pero parece ser que el francés ocuparía más esa plaza, que le daría acceso a los cuartos de final junto al alemán. Ya un poco más atrás estaría Adam Oliver, el británico. Tenemos a otro español, Burutarán, que iría quinto. Y ya luego, en sexta posición, pues iría el hongkonés Chai Fung Chang.
So it's a race for a second here because Ollie is powering on towards the finish here. Those blades dropping into the water like a high diver. There is barely a splash. He is so efficient in what he does, and proving it here because coming through the 1,500 metre mark, it was again 9 seconds of a lead that he has over the chasing pack. France, Lithuania, Great Britain, Spain, Hong Kong, China. Nothing really has changed in the chasing pack. The big question is, can the Lithuanian sculler come back into the mix and put pressure on France? But Johan Lamoureux at the moment looking good to qualify in second place. But as we've seen in the previous heats, anything can change in that run in towards the finish with the sprint finishes. But Colleen coming in with 2:50 to go. Very familiar to see Ollie leading it out, but just how much of a lead he is such a surprise.
Yeah, Ollie, absolutely. He's so efficient. Just a delight to see him out on the course. In fact, he's just dipped down to, I think, 29 strokes per minute against some of the high 30s and even low 40s stroke rates that we're seeing out on the course. It's Ollie Zeidler's race, no doubt about it. And then it's looking really good, I think, for Johan Lamiral of France, continuing to open up that margin and solidify that second place position.
Estamos ya en los últimos metros. El alemán, el gran favorito, manda la regata con mucha ventaja. Lucha entre la segunda plaza entre Francia, está atacando mucho la tripulación de Lituania. España e Inglaterra también luchando por esa segunda, tercera, cuarta plaza. Veremos el final, muy ajustada esta línea. Ahí ven los 4 botes por una plaza y por tiempos.
Well, Ollie Zeidler at his long 27 strokes per minute to come through the line. And the French sculler, by comparison, well, he's up at 39 strokes per minute. Again, making sure Johan Lamiral that he captures that second place position, that qualifying spot. So that's the 1-2. And we'll get a sense of times here in just a moment. 2 to directly advance with, once again, the remaining times will dictate who moves on to subsequent rounds. And third, indeed, it is Lithuania. So Nemeravicius to capture third. Heat number 5 then already underway in the second quarter, so not quite yet at halfway, Richie.
Yeah, coming through 500, it was the Uruguay sculler leading it out ahead of Portugal and Romania in third place. France were in fifth and Iraq back in sixth, but just 4 seconds separating them, so there was quite a lot of overlap between Uruguay and Portugal. There was just about half a length separating them through 500. This will close out the heats of the men's single sculls. And again, 2 crews to qualify here. The Uruguayan sculler Centraro Baralio, a familiar name to us, 6th at the World Championships last year, was a fantastic race from him, having previously been in and around the B finals. So I'm sure he's looking to build on the success of that A final at the World Championships last year and get into the mix of the A final again here at World Cup 1. In there is the 20-year-old sculler, the youngest in the field here, gold medalist at under 23 level, Diogo Goncalves, very familiar to the podium, having raced at quads, specialised in the single at the under 23 World Championships, taking gold there. So great to see him at just 20 years of age looking to qualify into the quarterfinals. These are the 1 and 2. A little bit further back then, Romania, France and Iraq are 3rd, 4th and 5th, with a little bit of work to do if they're going to get into the mix here. Another young rower from France, Hugo Roch, is in 4th place at the moment, and he's trying to put pressure on the Romanian sculler, 7th in the World Championships, and that's Romanian sculler as well, 3rd at the Europeans last year. So an in-form rower with lots of experience, and we'd expect him to see into the mix here as they come up towards the second half of this race. 1500 metre mark is going to be coming up for them soon, but it's still looking good for Uruguay and Portugal. These are the 1 and 2. All eyes on Romania. Can they get into the mix for the second qualifying spot?
Bueno, en esta quinta serie eliminatoria del esquif absoluto vemos como el remero uruguayo Bruno Cetraro pues ya está distanciándose de sus demás rivales. Parece que salvo alguna catástrofe no deseada ni esperada, pues va a asegurar ese pase al cuarto de final. Y luego el segundo puesto, pues también parece que Diego González está también distanciado de los demás rivales, que serían el rumano Mihai Chiruta, Hugo Roch y el iraquí Bak Aldalami. Si parece ahora ya acercándose a los 1500 metros, se ve que claramente pues tanto Bruno Cetraro como Diego González tienen como perfilado el pase a cuartos de final con esta remada fácil, que están los dos remeros dando en las aguas del Guadalquivir.
So coming through with the last quarter, and it is the Portuguese sculler, Diogo Goncalves, has now moved into the lead, moving from second into first, taking about 3/4 of a length lead ahead of the Uruguayan sculler in second place. They have clear water, though, back to the chasing pack of Romania, France and Iraq. So maybe these two will sit on that clear water lead that they have as they run in towards the finish. But we saw with those sprint finishes, anything can happen. And the Romanian sculler is absolutely motoring now, up at 38 strokes per minute, and is really trying to come back in to get that second qualifying spot. So to close out the heats of the men's single sculls, great to see Colleen, a 20-year-old sculler, coming out, putting out a dominant display and showing them who's boss.
Yeah, we love it. Diogo Gonçalves with a big second half, moving from second and now into first at the 15 and continuing to hold that position. We see over on the far side, Berolo trying everything that he can. Berolo increases the stroke rate to 39, but is there time?
Estamos en boyas rojas. Parece que la regata está dominada por el portugués Diogo, con segunda posición Uruguay. Matizar que estos dos primeros clasifican a cuartos de final, no a semifinal. Tendremos con esta la última eliminatoria, los 10 primeros y luego los mejores 14 tiempos.
Portugal holding on, Gonçalves holding on to that first place qualifying position with open water back to the rest of the field, increasing their stroke rate to 40 strokes per minute. It is Uruguay. Bruno Cetraro Barriolo increases to 40 to see if he can capture it, and it looks like he'll do just that. And then it is Romania then to grab that third place position. Chirosta of Romania with the final cruise then coming through the line. Iraq out of lane 2, and over on the far side, Hugo Roch of France. And fantastic way to end these men's single sculls heats, 5 heats, incredible depth in this category with those times just coming up on the screen now. And well, down in the grandstand, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce you to our host with the folks down in the grandstand. It's Paulino Garcia. Over to you, Paulino.
Here in the World Rowing Cup #1 here in Seville, in the best venue in the world, with the sun shining, this river, magnificent river Guadalquivir here in the center of the city. Here can we see all the boats near the boat park going on the water and doing her warm-ups. Here we're gonna see some races, some really good races. Welcome everybody. See you at the races and at the grandstand.
Yeah, thanks very much, Paulino. An absolutely beautiful course and a blistering start to the morning. Once again, just wrapping up those men's singles. We've got more action already on the course. We move then over to the lightweight women's sculls, where Richie, they'll be moving through the second quarter any moment now.
Yeah, they've gone through 500 meters. As we change over from different qualifying here, we have the first two from each of the heats will go into the final, as well as the two fastest times out of these two heats, and then everyone else will go into the B final. So a lot to play for here in these two heats that we have up coming towards us. Coming through 500 in the first heat, it is the Mexican sculler Lechuga Alanis leading it out ahead of Isabel Clements of Ireland. They were actually coming through 500 the very same time. It was a dead heat between them coming through 500. Yarzan of Uruguay back in third. Argentina, Portugal and Peru back in fourth, fifth and sixth. The Peruvian sculler may be a little bit off the pace, but all the others very much within a length or two and went through 500. The Mexican sculler, a very familiar name to us, debuted back in 2012 in the women's under 19 double sculls and was third at the World Championships last year in this lightweight event. So very familiar and experienced rower. She's leading it out as they came through 1,000 meters. She just started to open up the little bit of lead ahead of Isabel Clements of Ireland, young rower making waves on the international scene, based out of the University of Edinburgh, now part of the Rowing Ireland setups for the last number of years, and doing really well here, looking to hold on to second spot. But Yarzan of Uruguay, another experienced sculler and a name we're familiar with, in third at the moment. They're the 1, 2 and 3, and they're starting now to move away into the second half of this race ahead of Argentina, Portugal and Peru back in fourth, fifth and sixth. No doubt about the leader, the Mexican sculler powers on. All questions and all eyes will be on Ireland and Uruguay.
Bueno, eliminatoria del esquí ligero femenino, que de marcado acento iberoamericano, salvo la irlandesa Isabel Clements, y que a los 1000 metros nos depara, bueno, pues ya la mexicana, Kenia Lechuga, parece distanciarse claramente sobre más de un barco sobre las otras dos rivales, la irlandesa Isabel Clements y Nicole Yarzón, que estarían por la disputa de la segunda plaza. Luego tendríamos más retrasadas a Clara Galfre, la argentina, Inés Oliveira, la portuguesa, y Luciana Cegarra, la peruana. Quizás la duda estaría sobre esa segunda posición que está en disputa entre Irlanda y Uruguay. Comentar que la remera uruguaya Nicole Yarzón conoce muy bien esta pista de remero, al igual que Bruno Cerrado, que remó antes, ya que son remeros que entrenan aquí en Sevilla y se les quiere aquí como si fueran remeros propios.
So coming up to just over 500 meters to go, and no doubt about the leader. She's had a lonely race there out in lane 1. Leading it out is Lechuga Alanis of Mexico. Clearwater back to the chasing pack, and leading that chasing pack at the moment, it is Isabel Clements of Ireland in second, just a length ahead then of Uruguay. Nicole Yarzan there, the 1, 2 and 3. It's a length of Clearwater back to Galfre of Argentina in fourth place. Further Clearwater then back to Portugal and Peru for fifth and sixth. So heat 1 of the lightweight women's singles sculls, 2 to qualify into the final, and the next 2 fastest times out of heat 1 and heat 2 will go into that A final. So it's do or die here as they come into the last quarter of the race here. Still leading it out, it is Mexico, looking good to secure the first qualifying spot. Ireland, Isabel Clements really making a push to hold on to second at the moment. They're the 1 and 2. All eyes then on Nicole Yarzan as well in third place. She is trying to get back into contention with Clements of Ireland. They're the 1, 2 and 3. Argentina just off the pace, and they're going to run out of water, so I don't think they might get back into contention. But as I say that, the rate comes right the way up as she powers in towards the line. The only 2 off the pace, Portugal and Peru, we mentioned. So it looks good for Mexico so far. Red boys coming up. Colleen, so you'll be able to to tell us how that battle for the second qualifying spot is going.
Yeah, the battle indeed, because as you say, Kenya Lechugo Elanes just absolutely dominant of Mexico out of lane 1 on the far side. The battle behind, well, still looking good, I think, at the moment for Ireland, but certainly under pressure from Uruguay.
Sí, tenemos a la gran favorita, a Kenia Lechuga, la primera posición, y la segunda lucha entre la tripulación de Irlanda, Clemens y Nicole, por la segunda plaza. Recordemos que aquí los dos primeros pasan a la final A.
Kenya Lechugo Elanes moving through these final closing stages closest to the grandstand. Again, absolutely dominant performance, with Ireland then capturing that second qualifying position. The 22-year-old Isabel Clements of Ireland, a big push at the end for her. She led through the 500 and then slipped into second as Mexico overhauled. But that's the 1-2, and those are the spots you want to be in for that automatic qualification in the first heat of the lightweight single sculls. Just out of those 2 qualifying spots, then, it is indeed Nicole Yarzón of Uruguay. Back on the course, Richie, understand that, well, we've got the next heat already underway.
Already underway. We're looking to see who will join Mexico and Ireland into the A final, and we have a 5-boat race here between Brazil, Hong Kong, China, Netherlands, Uruguay, and the individual neutral athletes. Coming through the 500-meter mark, it's the Brazilian sculler leading it out ahead of Netherlands, Femke van der Veld in second place, individual neutral athlete in third, ahead of Hong Kong, China, and Uruguay. So they're the 1, 2, 3, 4 as they came through 500. The top 4 scullers just about 2 lengths separating first to fourth, and the Uruguayan sculler, international world rowing debut, getting great experience here in 5th at the moment and might be heading the way of the B final. But all to play for as they came through the halfway mark, and it's the Dutch sculler now moving into the lead. She moves from second into first, pushing the Brazilian sculler back into second place, ahead then of the individual neutral athlete holding on. Shenzhou is holding on to third at the moment, ahead of Hong Kong, China in fourth. A little bit of a change there between first and second through the halfway mark. So Van der Vliet looking good here, starting to open up that lead ahead of Brazil and secure those 2 spots coming at the halfway mark. These are the 1 and 2. Taking with them, though, Shenzhou of individual neutral athletes still within the mix, and just pushing out now and maybe losing touch. It is Hong Kong, China, and Uruguay in 4th and 5th. No doubt about the leader, timing it really well coming through 1,000-meter mark. It's the Netherlands leading it out ahead of Brazil.
Bueno, al pase de los 1000 metros, ya aproximándonos a los 1250, la holandesa Van der Veld, pues parece ya que está poniendo agua de por medio, asegurándose casi ese uno de los 2 primeros puestos que da acceso a la final. Y luego de cerca tendríamos a la brasileña Gorski de la Serie, y ya en tercer lugar a la remera neutral Shenzhou, a la hongkonesa en quinto lugar Jun Wing, y en última posición tendríamos pues a otra remera uruguaya también muy querida aquí en la ciudad de Sevilla, Romina Cetraro.
So looking good here for Femke van der Vliet of the Netherlands. She placed in the B final. She was 8th overall at the World Championships last year, so looking to make that leap up into the A finals here and looking good. Moving into the lead at the halfway mark and opening up clear water as she comes up to the last 500 to go. Also making a move, it is Zenzal. Valeria Zenzal of the individual neutral athletes is really putting a push on here into the last quarter and trying to get in back level with the Brazilian sculler. She has an overlap down to the last quarter and will be pushing on. Let's see what the early leader Brazil can do to hold on. Gorski de Lazari had been the leader first 500 and almost up to the 1,000-meter mark, but now in second place and coming under a lot of pressure from that individual neutral athlete. Ahead then of Hong Kong, China, who's done well over the last 500 to get back into the top 4 coming towards their times, but is well off the pace. And then we have the Uruguayan sculler in 5th at the moment, looking to close out and see who's joining Mexico and Ireland in that 8th final of the lightweight women's single scull. Looking good for Femke van der Vliet. The question is, can the Brazilian sculler hold off the challenge that's coming her way by way of the individual neutral athlete Valeria Schenzel?
Yeah, Schenzel making a big push here as they move into the red buoy zones. That's and that's exactly where we want to be looking as this race comes into the closing stages. No doubt about it, up at the top of the field, it is Femke van der Vliet holding on at 32 strokes per minute. She's the quickest moving boat on the course, but well, the battle for second continues. At the moment, the Brazilian holding on.
Estamos ya a los últimos metros, parece que la primera posición está garantizada con la remera del País Bajo y la segunda posición lucha muy fuerte, 6 metros de diferencia entre Brasil y la deportista neutral. Parece que Brasil tiene una ligera ventaja, pero hay 4 metros de diferencia.
Oh, coming into the closing stages, looking so good for Femke van der Vliet, the Dutch sculler in these final few strokes. But who will capture that second qualifying position? It's still looking good for Brazil, for De La Ziri of Brazil, holding on just barely under the threat of the individual neutral athlete, ever so close between those two. We hear the horns. We'll get the unofficial times in just a moment. But yeah, fantastic performance from Femke van der Vliet. And indeed, Brazil able to hold on to that second qualifying position. Gorski, De La Ziri, and that's the 1-2 with the individual neutral athlete capturing third, Schenzel. Then back to Hong Kong, China, and over to Uruguay. Well, I understand that Paulina is down in the grandstand and with some of our Spanish fans joining us here in Seville. Mucho gusto to those fans. Paulino, over to you.
Hello everybody, hola a todos. Aquí estamos con 2 fans español que me van a decir a quién vienen a ver. Buenas, ¿qué tal?
Hola, yo me llamo Bosco y voy a ver a mi hermana Lidia.
¿Y tu hermana Lidia en qué rema?
En Doshin con Amanda.
¿Y qué esperas de ella? ¿Esperas que gane, que entre en la final? ¿Qué esperas? Cuéntame un poquito.
Bueno, yo siempre quiero, como mi hermana, pues que gane y eso. Y corre la ventaja de que rema aquí en Sevilla, ¿no? En su casa. Y yo creo que va con buenas expectativas.
Efectivamente. Aquí tenemos también a su abuelo, ¿vale, Darío? Darío, cuéntanos un poco. ¿Usted qué espera?
Espero que sea la primera, porque en todos los sitios donde vas es la primera y siempre la clasifican, en todos los sitios, en todos los niveles. Los olímpicos, los paralímpicos, los nacionales, en todos los sitios siempre llega la primera. Luego aquí tiene que llegar la primera. Tiene que ponerse delante del mundo entero.
Okay, they were talking about her sister is Lydia, rose in the women's pair. He expected to win because the girl knows very well this venue. He rose here in Náutico Sevilla. He rose here in the national team. So they both expected to win and to make it the final. See you.
So they've already gone through the 1,000-meter mark in the first heat of the lightweight men's single scull. Just 8 crews competing here to go into the A final. Germany, Argentina, Portugal and Hungary are in heat 1. Coming through the first 500, it was the Argentinian sculler leading ahead of Portugal, but that's changed now coming through 1,000, and it is Portugal, João Sebastiano Velso, who is leading ahead of Menin of Argentina. They were the 1 and 2. Hirsch of Germany in 3rd. Hungary, then Tamas in 4th. Very little between them, but they're already down to the last quarter of this race here, and striding out and powering in towards the finish is the Portuguese sculler, just 18 years of age. We saw in the men's single a similar display. He's leading it out. Clearwater then back to Argentina, Germany and to Hungary, battling it out for the 2nd spot.
Bueno, el remero ligero, Joao Sebastián Veloso, está imponiendo su poderío, su hegemonía en esta regata y prácticamente diríamos que es difícil que pierda esta primera posición. En segunda posición, que también le daría acceso a la final, pues está el argentino Santino Menin, que parece también que está bastante distanciado ya del tercer clasificado a los 1500 metros, que sería el alemán, Bruno Hirsch, y en cuarta posición el húngaro, Ben Stamas, que ya parece que tiene menos opciones. En cualquier caso, parece que las dos primeras posiciones estarían tanto para el portugués como para el remero argentino.
So the chasing pack in second, third and fourth, Argentina, Germany and Hungary will push each other on into those fastest times. There's a spot available as well as the fastest times, but coming in towards the finish, Colleen, can you believe it? An international debut for the Portuguese sculler at 18 years of age, and here he is leading it out towards the finish.
Yeah, what a statement. Absolutely incredible from Ziao Veloso. And, well, yeah, we saw a big kind of, mid-race, we saw a big push. He moved into first, but at 18 years old, able to carry that pace all the way into the closing stages.
Sí, claramente el remero portugués ya los últimos 100 metros mandando la regata, seguido por el argentino que garantizan su pase a la gran final.
Moving then into the final few strokes, it is indeed Portugal. Veloso, the 18-year-old, crosses the line first to capture that second qualifying position. Then back to Argentina. Santino Menin of Argentina, that's the 1-2. And closest then to us in the grandstand, it's Bruno Hersch of Germany. And on the far side, Bence Tamas of Hungary. That's heat 1 of the lightweight men's single sculls. Richie, mid-second quarter for the next heat of the lightweight men's single sculls.
We're looking to see who's going to join Portugal and Argentina in that A final, and we have Hong Kong, China, USA, individual neutral athletes, and Venezuela battling it out here in the second heat. Coming through the 500-meter mark, it was Carreño of the individual neutral athletes ahead of Diaz of Venezuela. They were the 1 and 2. Chu Hin Hyun of Hong Kong, China in third then, and Jamie Kopus of USA in fourth. But again, very little between the four scullers. 2 spots on for a final, as well as those fastest times as well, to give us our 6 out of 8 that are going to compete. And then the other times will factor into the B final, but Portugal, Argentina already qualified, and it's looking good at the moment for that individual neutral athlete, and for Venezuela, the 1 and 2. In this race, we also have Jamie Kopus, hope he won't mind me saying, made his international debut back in 2011 in the under-19 men's 8, where they placed second. So what a debut that was, picking up a silver medal. Here he is racing in the men's lightweight single, and he will have a bit of work to do, get back into the mix here, because it's still the neutral athlete leading it out. But now coming through the halfway mark, the Hong Kong Chinese sculler, who was first in the B final at last year's World Championship, he's showing his form and moving into second place ahead of Venezuela and USA back in third and fourth. So it's Hong Kong, China in second, and that neutral athlete leading it out at the moment. They're the 1 and 2, and they're starting now to push on. Question is, can Diaz of Venezuela respond and hold on to those two moving on towards the finish?
Bueno, en esta segunda eliminatoria del esquí ligero nos encontramos probablemente la regata hasta ahora en la que por los 2 primeros puestos está la lucha más cerrada, ya que en 78 centésimas están prácticamente pues los 3 primeros botes, remero neutral, Kerneyeyu, después el hongkonés Hinchun Chiu y después el venezolano Jonás Díaz. Tienen una dura pugna. Ya van por los 1250 metros, por lo que estamos viendo. Sigue muy igualada la regata. Estas son las regatas que realmente gustan, y ya se sabe que las eliminatorias, cuando se juegan 2 puestos por una final, ya el tercero sería por tiempo, ¿no? Para entrar a la final ya serían los otros 2 por tiempo, y estamos viendo una regata francamente bonita. A ver cómo se desarrolla al final.
So not much changing here as they come in towards their last quarter of the race. It's still the neutral athlete looking to push on and take the qualifying spot to join Portugal and Argentina. but a really solid 500 now from Hong Kong, China. No stranger to the podium, 2 World Cup medals in last season, as well as a gold the previous season. I believe that was their first gold in sculling. He's just about holding on to the lead now, but we're seeing the Venezuelan sculler coming up and challenge him, coming up with 500 to go. It's Hong Kong, China leading it out. Venezuela in second, pushing the neutral athlete back into third. Let's see if he's a spent forcer. He's got anything left in the reserves to power on and try get into the mix for the second qualifying spot. The Hong Kong Chinese sculler absolutely motoring here, up at 38 strokes per minute, nearest the enclosure in the finish tower. He's powering on towards the line, but really impressive from Diaz of Venezuela, going from second to third, responding well now and back into second place. And if anything, he's putting pressure on the lead and might challenge for that first spot as they make their way down in towards the finish. The neutral athlete, little bit of work to do, having gone from first to third in the last 500, back under pressure now, and Jamie Copas in fourth at the moment, powering in towards the line. But all eyes are going to be on Hong Kong, China and Venezuela. Colleen, they're coming into view for you there. It's all change. I can't tell from where we are right now who's leading it out, but impressive from the Venezuelan to respond like this and try put pressure to get back in the mix.
Yeah, big effort from the Venezuelan Jonas Diaz in these final few strokes. And, well, Chiu Hin-chun of Hong Kong, China, absolutely incredible as well. He continues to lead.
Sí, tenemos una llegada muy ajustada por la primera, segunda y tercera plaza. Las dos primeras garantizan el paso a la final. Parece ser que la tripulación de Hong Kong ha tomado una ligera ventaja, pero están 3 botes en 8 metros a 100 metros de la llegada.
Chiu Hin-chun of Hong Kong, China, third at the 500 down. He now finds himself in that first place position, that critical qualifying spot. It's looking like his bow will be first across the line. He's managed to push Venezuela away. Venezuela then capturing that second qualifying position over to Jonas Diaz. That's the 1-2. And well, we'll see the times just reflected up here on the screen. Individual neutral athlete then capturing that third place position. A big start from them, but not quite able to hold the pace. And then back to Jamie Copas of the United States to round out the lightweight men's single sculls. And, well, you can usually spot the Irish supporters long before you see them. And they've brought plenty of energy to Seville this weekend. Let's head over to Paulino and say hi to our Irish friends.
Hi, I'm here with an Irish fan here, so we're gonna introduce her here with the Irish crew. Hello, everybody.
Hi, I'm Alba. I'm here to support my sister Isabel Clements, and she's racing in the lightweight women's singles, and I'm here to support Team Ireland.
Go Irish! Here with some Irish crew in the grandstand, everybody. Look at those flags in Irish people.
Thankfully, the Irish are in fine form and fine voice as well. Always great supporters, and hope they don't mind having to listen to me at the regattas as well. They're used to listening to me back in Ireland too. Back on the course, we've now moved into the women's pairs races, where we have 3 heats to get who's going to move into the semi-finals. Our first heat is between Spain, neutral athletes, New Zealand, Czechia, Chile and Japan. There's 2 to qualify, and again we'll have the mix of the crews into the timing as well. And through 500, it's Czechia leading it out ahead of Chile. They're the 1 and 2 neutral athletes in third, ahead of Spain, New Zealand and Japan in 4th, 5th and 6th. No doubt about the leaders though. Czechia, nice run on the water here as they come down towards us. Very experienced crew as well in this Chilean crew, multiple medals over all their seasons. These are the 1 and 2, and it's going with form. We'd expect them to be in the mix. The neutral athletes, just 20 years of age, making their world rowing debut. They're back in third at the moment. The local Spanish crew, more used to racing in the doubles and have done some work in the 4 and some coastal rowing. So it's a new combination from Spain, and at the moment they're back, moving from third place back into 5th at the moment. New Zealand starting to make make a move, coming back from fourth into third. A new combination here as well with this crew. Previously, Race Bow was in the 4 that placed third at the World Championships. Now in this new combination women's pair, seeing how they fare. So through the halfway mark, it's Czechia leading it out ahead of Chile. They're the 1 and 2. A little bit further back then, and it's all eyes on neutral athletes, New Zealand, Spain and Japan, 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th.
Bueno, en esta regata, esta semifinal de dosing absoluto femenino, nos encontramos con que a los 1000 metros, bueno, pues hay dos equipos que están claramente ya adelantados hacia los demás. Sería el equipo de Chequia, de Santrukova, Flamikova. Después el de las chilenas Antonia y Melita Abraham. Las dos tripulaciones andan sobre 3.38. Ya un poco más atrasadas, pues en 3.42 estaría el equipo neutral. Y ya, bueno, en otras posiciones más alejadas pues estarían las neozelandesas, las españolas y Japón. Bueno, pues las españolas evidentemente son para nosotros una especial debilidad por ser el equipo nuestro, pero reconocer también la enorme superioridad que estamos viendo sobre el agua, ya próximo a los 1500 metros, de las checas y las chilenas, y decir que sobre las chilenas tengo especial debilidad al haber estado entrenada durante mucho tiempo por quien fue un gran entrenador en este país y en Chile. Bienvenido, From.
So side by side in lanes 4 and 5, it has been all about Czechia and Chile as they came down the course, through down to the last 500, and it is the Chilean crew making a good move here. The Abraham sisters, part of the quads, very familiar to us over the last number of seasons, made their debut back in 2014 at the under-19. Racing the women's pair, they've been in A and B finals. They placed 7th at the World Championships last year. They're showing that form now because they've taken the lead in the last 500 ahead of the Czechia crew. The Czechia crew placed 8th at the World Championships last year, so again an informed crew, and would be looking to get in the mix of the A final. They're the 1 and 2, well ahead then of the neutral athletes, New Zealand, Spain and Japan, back in 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So looking good for the qualifying spots. Red boys are in sight for them. It is Chile and Czechia.
Yeah, big second half for these Chilean sisters, twin sisters, who, Richie, as you mentioned, have been rowing together for so long and are so skilled in the pair. That skill really on display here as we move into the final stages.
Sí, estamos ya a los últimos metros de la llegada. Chile dominando la prueba, 38 paladas por minuto, seguida por Chequia. Y estas dos tripulaciones pasarían a la semifinal y luchando la tercera y cuarta posición entre Australia y el país neutral.
Well, the Abrams sisters in sight, certainly from that grandstand. Nice long stroke. They've increased the stroke rate to hold on to that qualifying position up to 38 strokes per minute. Czechia going with them, but about 1 length or so off their pace. That's the 1-2. It's Chile and Czechia to capture those 2 qualifying positions. A bit of open water behind them, and then back to individual neutral athletes out of lane 2. Quite a sprint from them, but not quite enough to get an automatic qualifying spot. Of course, the times still count for those remaining crews as we look towards subsequent rounds. So individual neutral athletes, followed by New Zealand, and over in lane 1, the Spanish crew and Japan. Moving well through the second quarter, then fast and furious, it's on to the next heat, Richie.
Second heat making its way down, and a slight change. Germany did not start, waiting for the official details of why that is, but we have 4 boats racing here. We've Brazil, Denmark, France and Spain. They're the 4 crews in the mix for 2 qualifying spots into the semi-finals. Through the 500-metre mark and through the 1,000-metre mark, France leading it out and in full control here, but interesting to see that it is the Danish crew have moved from 3rd into 2nd at the halfway mark. So it's France from Denmark, Spain in 3rd place. They had been in 2nd but pushed back into 3rd and well off the pace at the moment. The Brazilian crew back in 4th, and Germany, as we said, did not start. So 4 boats here in the mix. France looking good so far coming down. They were 2nd in the World Championships last year, so we would expect this crew to be in form, and that's what they're doing, leading it out here. The Danish crew, new combination, previously raced in pairs and eights, as well as racing stroke was in the under-23s over the last number of seasons. So a new combination here for Denmark, looking good in 2nd at the moment and having a nice solid 500, moving from 3rd place into 2nd. Let's see what response we get from Spain. That bridge that goes over the beautiful course here in Seville, there's big numbers up there, flags are out, they're cheering them on and trying to get that Spanish crew back into the mix to qualify for the semi-final. But it's looking good so far for France. All eyes, and the big question is, can Spain respond and get back into the mix here ahead of Denmark?
Bueno, en esta eliminatoria vemos que el equipo francés ha dominado la regata prácticamente desde la primera palada, está con una distancia ya bastante considerable sobre el segundo y tercer perseguidores, que serían Dinamarca y España, que están en una dura pugna por ese segundo puesto que daría acceso directos a las semifinales. Ya los siguientes puestos serían a través de tiempos. Vemos que el equipo español ahora mismo parece que sobre los 1500 metros está apretando más. Son, bueno, pues Gil Camacho Amanda y Florido Rodríguez, que están ahora mismo dando una espectacular subida. Y parece que sobre los 1500 pues ya han rebasado a las danesas, pero la distancia es muy pequeña y todo se va a decidir al final. Lo que sí está claro que ya las francesas, imponiendo su dominio, están en semifinales.
This French pair are absolutely class. Cornelis and Perron moving beautifully in towards the finish here. They're in full control of the race. Our silver medalists from last year's World Championships. They're dominating the race here from the very start. The Spanish crew really responding to the push that came from Denmark over the 3rd 500 and coming in towards the finish. The local crew really pushing on here and trying to get off the Danish crew that is pushing them all the way to the line here. There's a spring in the step for the Spanish crew as they make the way to finish. I think they might get the better of Denmark.
Estamos ya en los últimos 250 metros. Bonita lucha para la segunda posición entre España y Dinamarca. Francia, subcampeonas del mundo, domina la regata con cierta claridad, pero la lucha emocionante, ánimo la grada, animando al equipo español por esa segunda plaza. Lucha entre Dinamarca y España a 100 metros de la llegada.
Absolutely incredible push from Spain in these closing stages. The French combination Perron and Cornelis holding on to that top qualifying position, but big press from Spain. They were 3rd at halfway, 2nd at 1500 down, and holding on to what could be a qualifying spot, but under enormous pressure from this Danish combination. No doubt about it. France will go through, but will it be from Denmark, this combination in this pair, or the Spanish local favorites? It's looking really good for Spain in these final few strokes. Absolutely incredible, up at 40 strokes per minute. It is Spain then through the line 1 and 2 to directly qualify. That's France and Spain, and a great effort from Denmark, followed by Brazil out of lane 2 to round out heat 2 of the women's pair. And well into the 3rd heat, Richie, looking pretty good for the moment for the Aussies.
Yeah, the Aussies leading it out here ahead of the crew from Romania 3. There were 2 Romanian crews racing in this race here. They are looking good so far, coming in towards the halfway mark. Australia, Federico and Easton. The crew leading and leading well. The Australian crew, it's a new combination, having previously raced in the 8s and 4s and pairs previously. We'll see how they fare here, leading it out and looking good through the halfway mark. They also led through the 500-metre mark, so they're in full control here. Romanian 3, a new combination as well for this Romanian crew. As they come in towards, and they are getting the better of the other Romanian crew. So it's a Romania 3 versus Romania 1 for second and third. The Lithuanian crew back in fourth place at the moment. Well used to seeing them in B finals. So let's see if they can get into the mix of the A final or the semi-finals for the women's pairs here. They're back in fourth, but in striking distance of the two Romanian crews as well. Back in fifth place, it's Great Britain at the moment, a little bit off the pace. The Great British crew, a new combination from their stroke of the British crew was in the 8th that came third at the World Championships last year, but they're regrouping now at this pairs race and see how they fare at this level. No doubt about the leaders, though, through the halfway mark and coming towards the 1500-metre mark. It's Australia still powering on. The question is, how are the two Romanian crews going to do against each other? And Lithuania are doing their very best, literally sitting in between the two crews from Romania, trying to break up the monopoly they have on that second place as they come in towards the finish. They've reeled in the Australian crew. So with 500 to go, the Australian crew now have an overlap. It's just about a length they're leading it out, ahead of Lithuania and the Romanians back in third and fourth.
Bueno, vemos que las remeras australianas lideran la regata, pero son estas regatas en las que el bote que lidera no puede aflojar. ¿Por qué? Pues porque las perseguidoras, que serían Lituania y Romania, el equipo 1 y el equipo 3, están luchando a muerte y están prácticamente en menos de un segundo, medio segundo, para luchar por esa segunda posición que da paso directo a las semifinales. No obstante, como hay también clasificación por tiempo, estarían clasificadas todas. Ya más atrás quedaría el equipo británico, un poquito más atrasado.
So down to close out the women's pairs heats. It's looking good here for Australia, but they're coming under so much pressure coming in towards the finish. It looked like Lithuania might have the better of those two Romanian crews, Colleen.
Yeah, Lithuania with a really good push here. They increased the stroke rate to 40 strokes per minute, looking to capture that second qualifying position, moving from fourth in the first half and now holding on just barely to second.
Ya tenemos los últimos metros, sigue manteniendo la primera posición Australia, Lituania parece asegurar la segunda, pero solo a 4 metros sobre Rumanía y la Rumanía 3 en cuarta posición. Recuerdo que los dos primeros puestos pasan a la semifinal.
Well, the Aussie fans will be delighted. It's looking really good as this Australian combination now kicks it up to 42 strokes per minute. But under threat from the Lithuanians, who just led for a quick moment. It's back to the Aussies, back to the Lithuanians, and that means Romania just getting pushed out of one of those two qualifying positions. So tight here as they come through the line. Will it be Lithuania? Will it be the Australians? Ever so tight. They're dead level as they come through. We know that Romania, though, will take that third place position. Then it's back to Romania out of lane 4. So absolutely incredible up at the top of the field. We'll get unofficial times here in just a moment. And well, as we await those, we recognize that the atmosphere is building in the grandstand. So to our Spanish fans and coaches down there with Paulino, bienvenidos.
Hola a todos, ¿qué tal? Hello everyone. I'm here with Mirson Camadro. Mirson, ¿qué tal?
Hola, buenos días a todos. Buenos días.
¿Qué tal? ¿Tú a quién vienes a animar?
No, yo vengo a ver regatas en general. Hombre, quiero ver el equipo español, que vaya bien, pero también vengo a ver el equipo chileno, el dosín de las chicas, que tiene muy buen nivel. Y nada, pues disfrutar de este remo que normalmente no se ve en Sevilla. Hace muchísimos años que no hay nada de este nivel y están equipos muy potentes, la verdad.
Okay, he was saying that he's from Chile. He was here in Spain like 30 years ago. So he was saying that we have so lucky to have the World Rowing Cup #1 here in Seville, because this kind of athlete, this type of athlete, we cannot see every day. So we have to take advantage of this. He's now one of the clubs here in Seville, rowing coaches. So he's seeing races, taking clues about other countries. So he's supporting the Spanish team and the Chile team too.
Straight back to the action here with the first heat of the men's pair. And again, 2 to qualify here. In the next 6 fastest times over the 3 heats will go into the semi-finals. So tough racing for the pairs racing over the next couple of days. Coming through the halfway mark and through the 500-metre mark, Romania 1 have been leading it out of the Beriariu and Lehahi of Romania, ahead of Lithuania. The brothers, the twins, are in second place at the moment, ahead of Uruguay, Germany and France. Very little has changed. The only thing in the last 500 was that Uruguay moved from 4th into 3rd. So it's Romania ahead of Lithuania, Uruguay, Germany and France. They're the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 as they come through the halfway mark. The Romanian crew looking good here so far. New combination. They've previously raced in different boats in the 4 and the pair mixed 8 as well. The French crew, they're back in 6th place at the moment. Just to mention, their young crew came 10th at the under-23s and the 8. Now we're racing here in the pair and getting good experience. The Uruguay crew, more used to coastal rowing in under-23, but they're in the mix here. They're in 3rd coming through the halfway mark. And they're holding off the challenge that's coming from Germany at the moment. And of course, the Lithuanians, 4th at the World Championships in the 4, now back in the pair and looking good here. But no doubt about the leaders, Romania, nearest enclosure and to the finish tower. They're leading it out with clear water ahead of the Lithuanians. These are the 1 and 2. All eyes then on Uruguay, Germany and France. Can they get back into the mix? And at the moment, it is the crew from Uruguay within striking distance of the Lithuanians. But that Lithuanian crew, so powerful and so experienced, and I'm sure they'll respond to any threat that comes their way, and they're eating back into that lead the Romanians have.
Bueno, pasado los 1500 metros ya vemos como el equipo rumano de Berariu y Leazzi y el lituano de los incombustibles Stankunas pues han puesto agua de por medio con el tercer y cuarto participantes. La tercera embarcación sería la de Uruguay, Rodas Correal García, que ya quedan un poquito más distanciados. Y después ya tendríamos al equipo germano y al francés, que también ya van más atrasados. Comentar que, bueno, pues en estas eliminatorias, las 3 eliminatorias que hay, los 2 primeros de cada regata pasan a la final y luego los 6 mejores tiempos. Luego es importante que aunque vayas tercero o cuarto, lo des todo porque puedes entrar por tiempos en las semifinales.
So finish line is inside, and the Romanians and Uruguayans up at 40 strokes per minute, Colleen.
Yeah, 40 strokes per minute. And in fact, Uruguay kicks it up now to 42 strokes per minute. And the Romanians take it to 43. It's an absolute battle in these closing stages.
Sí, tenemos ya la llegada, claramente la tripulación de Rumanía en primera posición, Lituania segunda, y ahora está la lucha entre Uruguay y Alemania por la tercera posición, con una ligera ventaja hacia Uruguay.
Well, 2 spots to capture those qualifying positions directly, and it's looking really good for Romania. Romania holding on to that position, and then back to Lithuania. Romania with such a dominant performance. In fact, they lengthen it out in those final few strokes to capture that first qualifying position. And we hear the horn then for Lithuania on the far side. So lanes 1 and 5, those outside lanes advancing directly. A fantastic performance from the Lithuanians as well. The Stankunas, Diovadas and Domantas Stankunas. So well done to those 2 with the final times rolling in. Uruguay then pushed to 3rd, back to Germany and over to France. It's heat 2 of the men's pair, and well, just over 600 meters down.
600 gone, and our gold medalists from last year's World Championships are the ones that are leading it out. Welch and Taylor of New Zealand, well ahead now of Slovenia, Norway, Great Britain and Ireland. A lot of new combinations between the crews from Slovenia, Great Britain Ireland new combinations and featuring a lot of rowers from the under-23 level now stepping up into the senior rowing here. At the moment, it is just about a length and a half of clear water that New Zealand have over Slovenia in second place. Slovenian crew, a lot of experience at under-23 level, but racing nicely here in the first 500 metres. Let's see how they fare over the other 3/4 of a race to go. Norway back in third place, just a little off the pace of Slovenia, but with an overlap. And then it's Great Britain and Ireland back in fourth and fifth at the moment, and just a couple of lengths separating them. Those leads will easily be eaten into if any of the crews make a push coming up towards that halfway mark. Similar rates here, 37, 39 strokes per minute in the second heat of the men's pairs. So they're matching each other on a stroke rate, but not on boat speed, because we're seeing the crew from New Zealand power on again here and open up more of a lead. They've doubled the lead that they had coming through 500. New Zealand leading ahead of Slovenia, and then it's the Norwegian crew in third. Ireland moving from fifth into fourth place. So Ireland now in fourth place, ahead of Great Britain back in fifth. And we said a lot of new combinations of the crews here and a lot of under-23s racing as well. It's only New Zealand really that have that pedigree and form from that fantastic season that they had last year, winning gold at World Cup 1, silver in World Cup 2, and taking that World Championship as well. They're doing what we expect here, leading it out ahead of Slovenia, Norway, Ireland and Great Britain.
Bueno, esta eliminatoria nos está trayendo, pues, bueno, una primera posición clara, bueno, de una pareja bien conocida, son los neozelandeses Will y Taylor, que vamos a decir de ellos, que prácticamente ya se han distanciado muchísimo de sus rivales, los eslovenos. Luego también en dura pugna con Eslovenia sería para la segunda plaza los noruegos, que prácticamente se sitúan en un segundo, y luego tendríamos en cuarto lugar los irlandeses, que tampoco andan muy lejos de esos puestos de privilegio. Luego en último lugar estarían los británicos, que también están cerca. Es una regata que sí es verdad que para la primera posición a los neozelandeses ya les da el billete directo a las semifinales, y luego ya pues hay una dura pugna para ver quién se hace con esa segunda posición, y por tiempos también.
Huge support from the bridge and from the coaches cycling down with the crews as they make their way down to the last quarter. New Zealand in dominant form here. They're leading it out, opening up now more than a 5-second lead. A lot of clear water. Back then to Slovenia, having a great race in second. But there's a real tussle on here between Norway, Ireland and Great Britain. And they're pushing each other back into the Slovenian crew and trying to get an overlap, but they're going to run out of water. Colleen, they'll be coming into view for you shortly. Really nice display here from New Zealand, following on from that form from the last season where they picked up so many medals, including the World Championship. And the big question is, can Slovenia hold off Norway, Ireland and Great Britain charging to the line?
Yeah, that's the real race happening right behind them, between Slovenia under threat from Ireland. And as you say, Norway as well. Great Britain not to be left out. But credit to the Kiwis, truly a dominant performance. They're at a cool 37 strokes per minute with the rest of the field getting close to about 40. It is New Zealand, the reigning world champions, Oliver Welch and Benjamin Taylor.
Ya estamos en los últimos metros. Vemos a la tripulación de Nueva Zelanda, actuales campeones del mundo, dominando la regata. En segunda posición la mantiene Eslovenia, pero atención a esos puestos que te dan la semifinal, los puestos por tiempos. Este nuevo sistema de progresión hace que estas eliminatorias sean muy bonitas y todo el mundo luche para clasificar a la siguiente ronda, que son semifinales.
It's looking like Slovenia will be able to hold on to that second qualifying position, but we've still got time. The Kiwis, meanwhile, long, incredible press here in these closing stages to cruise through the line first from start to finish, and then closest to the grandstand, lane one. It is indeed Slovenia to capture that second qualifying position. So that's the 1-2, pretty consistent there throughout this race. The 1-2, 2 to advance on, and of course, with the next 6 fastest times of the remaining crews to the semi-final. Richie, Heat 3 well underway on the course.
Well underway through 500, and the good news for the Spanish supporters, they're leading it out at the moment through 500, ahead of Switzerland, Croatia in third. Venezuela in 4th, and Hong Kong, China back in 5th place. Very little between 1st to 4th, and we'll see how they come up to the halfway mark. And again, a lot of debuts, new combinations being made here. The Venezuelan crew, who are in 4th place. It's their World Rowing debut here. A lot of Latin American crews racing here at World Cup 1. Great to see them and have them here, and they're doing really well in 3rd place at the moment there. We also have new combination from Spain, leading to the 1,000-meter mark. They're holding on to the lead, but barely. They're not shaking off the Swiss crew. We have a birthday from the Swiss sculler, so hopefully he'll be celebrating with a medal later on to bring in some medalware into along with birthday cards, but he's doing really well in the Swiss crew. They had a success in the pair, coming 3rd last year, and they're the informed crew, but it'll be interesting to see how Spain and Switzerland battle this one out. Croatia in the mix as well. Used to seeing them in the 4, where they placed 7th at the World Championship last year, and in the World Cup regattas they placed in 5th and 4th, but they did pick up a medal at the Europeans, so very much experience and form as well. As they went through the halfway mark, Spain were just about holding on from Switzerland, and Croatia, they're down now towards the 500 to go, and we'll find out, can Spain hold off the challenge? That's their huge support again on that bridge that's spanning the course as they make their way down towards it. It is Spain leading it out ahead of Switzerland, and let's see what Croatia and Venezuela can do. Hong Kong, China, the only crew off the pace at the moment, but all eyes on Spain.
Bueno, pues en esta eliminatoria de 200 tenemos aquí a los héroes locales, ¿no? Jaime Canalejos y Javi García, que parece que van en primera posición, se acercan ya a los 1500 metros. Seguidos muy de cerca por Suiza, que no les pierde la vista, pero sí parece que van los dos remeros sevillanos, van españoles, van adelantados. Y luego en tercer lugar pues irían los incombustibles Longaric, que parecen estar ya más lejanos de los suizos, y se ve claro que van a ser tanto los helvéticos como los españoles los que se van a clasificar directamente a semifinales. Luego ya tendríamos a Venezuela y a Hong Kong más retrasados. Parece que están ya los dos primeros puestos asignados.
So great news for the local supporters. Spain leading it out here, and they've just about a length lead ahead of Switzerland. They're the 1 and 2, who in turn have clear water then over Croatia. The Lonkarich twins back in 3rd at the moment. They'll have to see will their time do to get them into the semi-finals, because I don't think they're going to get back into that lead that Switzerland and Spain have opened up. It's Venezuela back in 4th and Hong Kong, China in 5th to round out the second heat of the men's pair. But looking good here for Spain as they power towards the finish.
Looking so good for Spain. Bienve, guau.
Wow, la tripulación de Jaime y Javi son una de las grandes esperanzas de España para conseguir una medalla en esta Copa del Mundo. Son quintos en los Juegos Olímpicos, cuartos en el Mundial de Shanghái, y están demostrando su nivel, dominando la regata con más de un bote de diferencia sobre otro gran rival que es Suiza. Estos dos botes clasificarían para la semifinal. Regata muy bonita, dominada bien, los españoles controlando, Suiza acercándose, y siempre queda la posibilidad de clasificar por tiempo en el caso de Croacia.
Absolutely incredible race for Spain as they come through the line. 36 strokes per minute, holding off the charge from the Swiss just next to them. The Swiss wind it up, but there's not enough water, not enough time. It is Spain to take first, Switzerland to capture then that second qualifying position. Hyona Plock and Patrick Bruna of Switzerland. And well, then through the line, the remaining crews just finishing their final few strokes. But that's our top 2 to advance on, with the next 6 fastest times of the remaining crews from all of the heats to go on to the semifinal, with Croatia taking 3rd. Down in the grandstands, we'll head down to Paulino, excusez-moi, and hear what's going on with the crowd down there.
Hi everyone, hola a todos. Aquí estoy con el presidente de la Federación Española de Remo. Bueno, Miguel Ángel, cuéntanos algo.
Buenos días Paulino, buenos días a todos. Pues aquí estamos empezando este maravilloso fin de semana de remo en la ciudad de Sevilla. Para mí la mejor pista del mundo. Y bueno, acabamos de terminar la regata del dosín absoluto masculino. Uno de nuestros buques insignia, dos olimpiadas con 2 diplomas olímpicos a su espalda. Y bueno, y sin desmerecer el trabajo que esta mañana pues ya ha hecho tanto Alex, como Cosme, como Lidia, como Amanda, como Iria, como Aina Ertemán, se me olvidaba. Y bueno, y ahora nos queda el doble school de Rodrigo y de Caetano, y pues sí, posteriormente el 4 school, que también es un bote que está entre los 8 primeros en el último mundial. Esperemos que la climatología no suba mucho y que disfrutemos de un maravilloso fin de semana de remo en esta maravillosa pista.
Thank you, muchas gracias, Miguel Ángel. He was saying that the Spanish crew that just arrived, Javi and Jaime, have 2 Olympic diplomas. He's the main boat here in Spain. They are from here. They are rowing in the Club Náutico Sevilla, so they know very well this venue, this course, and without taking advantage of the another boats, the men's double, the men's single, the women's pairs. So everybody's gonna do. He hopes that everybody's gonna do some real good job, and that's okay. So have good luck to every athlete, to every rowers. So that's it.
Well, it's been a fast and furious morning, and we have loads more to look forward to before we break for lunch. And well, the women's double sculls heats, the men's, the fours, the quads, the men's single sculls, and then some preliminary races after lunch in the afternoon program.
Estamos ya en la media, digamos, de la competición de la mañana. Nos quedan las eliminatorias de los dobles sculls de mujeres y hombres, los cuatros de mujeres y hombres, los cuatro sculls de mujeres y hombres. Y con eso terminaríamos la jornada de la mañana a las 12:10, la última salida, y se volvería a la tarde a las 2:05 con los cuartos de final del skip de hombres y mujeres.
Well, on the course is the women's double sculls. So we move from the pairs and into the doubles. We have Peru, Palacios, Alicia and Valeria Palacios, names that certainly will recognize, rowing fans will recognize, individual neutral athletes, Elena Florman and Tatiana Klemovic out of lane 2. Then over in lane 3 from Canada, Alize Brian and Avelon Vastinas of Canada. Then Sophia Young in the bow seat for Ireland, Alison Bergen in the stroke seat. The Dutch out of lane 5, so Marika Kaiser and Margot Leeuwenburg. And for France, Leah Hosevici and Claire Beauvais in the stroke seat. Early goings and well, just about 400 meters down, not quite at that first 500-meter mark. Times just rolling in, looking good for Canada. It's a good, clean start with the Dutch combination close in that second could be a qualifying position. Then Ireland in third, and well, we know that Ireland certainly builds speed throughout these races. So Richie, there'll be one to keep an eye on.
Absolutely, and they're holding on to third place at the moment ahead of Peru, the neutral athletes, and France back in fourth, fifth and sixth. But it's the Canadians leading it out here as we start the heats of the women's double. It's Canada from the Netherlands. They're the 1 and 2, just about a half a length and a length separating them then to the Irish crew. New combination for Ireland, Sophia Young and Alison Bergen. Alison numbers races in the double at under 23 and senior level. New combination here, Sophia Young in the bow seat. I flew over with her earlier on in the week. She's doing her A-level exams and fitting in a World Cup debut in around that as well. Last year at the Irish Rowing Championship, she did the triple. She won the single, the double and the quad at the Irish Championships, and certainly a star for the future, partnering up here with Alison Bergen, and at the moment, as we mentioned, they're in third. It's the Netherlands crew in second though, and Canada, they were the ones coming through the 500-metre mark neck and neck, matching each other on stroke rates and at boat speed as well, and pushing each other on, but the Irish staying in touch as well. All of the action in those lanes 3, 4 and 5, which will suit the crews. They'll be able to see any of the pushes that are coming and respond in turn and maintain contact. A little bit further off the pace then, Peru, the neutral athletes and the French crew back in 4th, 5th and 6th as they come up on the halfway mark. We're going to see how they fare now. Can Canada hold on to the lead that they opened up in the last few 100 metres? They're still at the moment coming through and just about holding on, but the Irish crew now in second. So it's Canada from Ireland and the Netherlands. They're the 1, 2 and 3 neutral athletes back in 4th ahead of France and Peru in 5th and 6th. So Ireland moving from 3rd into 2nd, but the Canadian crew just about holding on to the lead.
Bueno, ya pasados los 1000 metros nos encontramos que en esta primera regata de doble scull absoluto femenino va liderando la regata el equipo canadiense. Muy cerquita, prácticamente un segundo, el equipo irlandés, el segundo. Y luego también muy cerca también el segundo equipo holandés, ya un poquito más atrasado, estaría el equipo neutral. Francia y Perú irían ya un poquitín más descolgadas. Comentar que, bueno, como ha pasado con otras pruebas previas con el mismo número de participantes, son 3 eliminatorias, los 2 primeros de cada eliminatoria pasan directamente a semifinales y de los que no pasan por puestos, los 6 mejores pasan a semifinales y a partir de los séptimos mejor tiempo ya sería para la final C. Y bueno, ya se están aproximando a los 1500 metros. Vemos una lucha muy reñida. La verdad es que está siendo de estas regatas bonitas, ¿no? Bonitas porque bien, por querer coger la clasificación por puesto como por tiempo, los equipos están apretando muy duramente.
1500-metre mark is coming up and the Canadians have been reeled in, so that work that was being done by the Dutch and Irish crews paying off, and it's Ireland taking the lead by canvas, just coming up 1500. It's half a canvas, Ireland now striding out. Alison Bergen dishing it out there in the stroke seat, being backed up by Sophia Young. They're the 1 and 2. Then it is the Canadian crew, and they're coming under increased pressure by a charging Dutch crew back in 3rd place. A little bit of further clear water back to the neutral athletes and France, and off the pace then the twins from Peru in 6th, but really timing it to perfection here. The Irish crew, they're going early, 500 metres to go, they're powering on towards the line, opening the lead ahead of the early leaders, Canada. It's Ireland from Canada and Netherlands, they're the 1, 2 and 3. The question is, who's going to get the 2 qualifying spot? Let's see if Ireland timed this well. Coming in towards the finish, it's Ireland leading it out ahead of Canada and Netherlands.
Look out for the Dutch. The Dutch are on the move. Yes, Ireland leading, but the Dutch, well, among the quickest moving boats on the course, they were for just a moment. They are making a run for the Canadians.
Se terminaron los días aburridos de eliminatorias, los días viernes. Ahora todo el mundo lucha por un puesto que le clasifique para la semifinal, sea por posición o por tiempos. Y ahí tiene la lucha entre Irlanda, Canadá, Holanda y el país neutro.
Ireland holds. Ireland holding up at 38 strokes per minute onto that first place position. The Dutch continuing to move and just edge for a moment their bow ahead of Canada. Canada now under threat in that third place position at the moment. It's 2 to advance directly with the remaining fastest times advancing on to subsequent rounds. It is Ireland holding on to that top qualifying position, but yes, the Dutch have timed this to absolute perfection as they come through the line. It is Ireland and their final few strokes, followed by the Netherlands and back to Canada just barely. And then over on the far side, the individual or closest to the grandstand, individual neutral athletes. And on the far side, the combination from France coming through the line. So incredible performance from this Dutch combination, and we'll have to keep an eye on that last 500 meters from them and in the next round. That means the Canadians do take third, and once again, the the 6 fastest times of the remaining crews to the semi-final 1 and 2 automatic qualifiers. Well, just about 800 meters gone, Richie, and well, the next heat is underway.
Underway and through 500, it was the crew from Great Britain leading it out ahead of Slovenia, and then Romania 1, Romania 2, Netherlands and New Zealand back in 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So Great Britain leading just about. It was on the surge coming through the 500-meter mark that they were ahead of Slovenia. These two crews matching each other, and the Romania 1 crew just as well. Those three battling it out, and really when they take a stroke, it's who's leading between the three of them. A little bit further back, just by half a length, it is the Romanian 2 crew that has in 4th place ahead of the Netherlands and New Zealand, and they've just gone through that all-important halfway mark, and we're seeing a charge here by Bodnar and Radis of Romania back in this boat, and they take control of the race here through the halfway mark. They move into the lead ahead of Slovenia, and Great Britain, our early leaders, have pushed back into 3rd place, but by no means are they out of this yet, because they're still within striking distance of the Slovenian crew and that second qualifying spot. Powerful stuff here for Romania. So much dominance over the last number of seasons in multiple boats, and now they're taking a firm grip here of Heat 2 of the women's double scull. Slovenia, new combination from them. Used to seeing them in C finals, but they're doing really well here to put it up to the crews coming up to the halfway mark in 2nd place, holding off Great Britain. Another new combination in 3rd place at the moment, and they're starting to shake off Romania and Romania 2, Netherlands and New Zealand back in 4th, 5th and 6th. So it's between Romania 1, Slovenia and Great Britain for the 2 qualifying spots. Romania making their mark at the halfway mark, moving into the lead. And then Slovenia and Great Britain, let's see what response they have to that Romanian crew who are leading it.
Bueno, esta segunda eliminatoria también de mujeres nos trae una regata realmente bonita y competida. O sea, esto es lo bonito del remo, ¿no? Estas regatas en donde la igualdad está ante todo en el agua. Vemos que el equipo rumano está un poquito más adelantado, además con una remada fácil que parece que no les está costando remar. Ya se acercan a los 1500 metros en primera posición, pero seguida muy de cerca tanto por el equipo británico como el equipo esloveno y Rumanía 2. La verdad, una regata preciosa.
The Romanians stride out again. They've got about a length of clear water ahead of Slovenia. Slovenia now coming under pressure from Great Britain. Really solid 500 from Great Britain. They're just half a length off Slovenia and that second qualifying spot. Coaches flying by here, giving them instruction and encouragement as they run in towards the finish. Romania in full control. The question is, Great Britain start to wind up. They're taking the rate right up, and I'm not seeing much of a response now from Slovenia. Maybe they put the effort in to the first half of the race. They're in 2nd, 3rd place at the moment. I think Great Britain are just about moving ahead. It's further back than the chasing pack of Romania 2, Netherlands and New Zealand, but no doubt about it, 2:50 to go as they come in towards you. It is Romania leading it out, but that battle is between Slovenia and Great Britain for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, big start from Great Britain, and then we're overhauled by the Slovenians. So looking to see what develops in these closing stages. Up at the top of the field, though, Romania's legendary Bodnar and Radish double is back with a bit of a patient start, and it's paid off.
Estamos ya en las últimas boyas rojas, últimos metros. Gran lucha por la segunda posición que daría el paso directo a semifinal entre Eslovenia e Inglaterra. En estos momentos, Inglaterra ha hecho un cambio de ritmo importante. Parece que lleva 2 metros de ventaja sobre la tripulación de Eslovenia, que va a luchar por ese tiempo que le garantice la semifinal.
Good push from Great Britain, but will it be enough? Because Slovenia is going and no one is touching the Romanians up at the top of the field. They increase the stroke rate to 39-40 strokes per minute as they charge through the line. But that second qualifying position, it looks like Great Britain will do it over out of lane 6. Great Britain, big final quarter, moving from 3rd into that second qualifying spot to push past Slovenia. Just absolutely incredible finish. So it is indeed Romania to come through. Again, a combination we know so well, Bodnar and Radish, and to grab that second qualifying position. We'll get times here in just a moment. It looks like, beg your pardon, it is Romania 2 with Great Britain then taking that third position. So top two qualifying positions both go to Romania. Well, back on the course, already approaching halfway. Richie looking good for Poland.
Poland have led from the start, and through 500 they were just about ahead on the surge of Netherlands, Ireland, Switzerland and Germany with the positions. A little change is only Switzerland have gone from 5th into 4th, coming through the halfway mark. So it's still Poland leading it out ahead of the Netherlands, and Ireland in 3rd place. Switzerland on a charge because they've come back and are more or less level with the Irish crew now. Germany as well, all overlapping in this 3rd heat of the women's doubles. So 2 to qualify into the semi-finals. A lot of new combinations again here in World Cup 1, seeing crews that have previously raced in the single, the double, the quad, now making their move into the double sculls here. The German crew, they were 3rd in the quad last season and also had a lot of medals at World Cup 2. They won gold, World Cup 1, they won silver, Europeans won silver, but now opting to race the double instead of the quad here. But they're back in 5th place, so not where we would expect them to see. Thought they might be the informed crew. The Irish crew having a good winter. They trained here in Seville in January as well, so the Irish crews will be very familiar with this stretch of water as they make their way down into the finish. And let's see if the Irish crew can do what the previous women's double did and move into the lead into the last 500. It's Poland coming through the halfway mark. We're leading ahead of Netherlands and Ireland, and Switzerland and Germany in 4th and 5th. But all to play for. The crews are overlapping here, and just as they come on about 500 to go, it might be the Dutch making a move here on the poles.
Bueno, esta tercera eliminatoria del doble scull absoluto femenino está siendo realmente preciosa. Está siendo, como decimos aquí en el sur, a cara de perro. Que en 2 segundos haya 5 tripulaciones a los 1000 metros ya habla por sí solo del extraordinario nivel de las competidoras en esta regata. Si bien Polonia parece que asoma la cabeza, pero es que están todos los equipos muy parejos. Ahora mismo tienen opciones Polonia, Holanda, Irlanda está ahí muy cerquita y tampoco se puede descartar a Suiza, que está a 1.32 de la primera posición, y un poquito más descolgado estaría Alemania.
I think this might be the closest race that we've seen so far this morning in the racing. There's 4 boats with just a canvas separating them. Poland, Netherlands, Ireland, Switzerland, all within striking distance for those 2 spots. It's Germany off the pace back in 5th at the moment. Poland just about holding off the Netherlands. And let's see what sprint finishes are in there between the Dutch, the Poles, the Irish and the Swiss crews. I can hear some cowbells, Colleen. They're ringing and bringing them home.
Richie, we have 4 boats at the moment in contention for those 2 qualifying positions because the Swiss are not to be left out. At the moment, it is the Dutch just barely over Poland and Ireland.
Estamos ya en los últimos metros y están pasando cosas como están viendo durante la mañana. Estos últimos 200 metros se deciden quién clasifica por puestos, quién clasifica por tiempo, y ahí esta bonita regata entre Holanda, Polonia e Irlanda por posición y tiempos.
Well, it's looking so good for the Dutch, but the Poles continuing to hold on. Ireland, though, pressing. Ireland up to 42 strokes per minute. Irish fans will be delighted to see this sprint. No one, it appears, will touch this Dutch combination at 43 as they charge through the line. But indeed, looking like Ireland will go with them, which means Poland just off the pace, just barely, then back to Switzerland and over to Germany. Absolutely incredible. All, again, 4 crews in contention for those 2 spots. in the closing stages, but credit to the Dutch, just a big performance from them. Patient race, second all the way, and then a big last quarter to take them into first, and a big sprint from Ireland. That's the 1-2, then over to Poland, Switzerland, and with the closing stages back to Germany. Well, we'll head back down to the grandstand with our host Paulino, who I understand is with some fans.
Hello, everybody. Here with some British fans here, sitting in the grass, enjoying the weather in Seville, enjoy the sun. He's gonna a little bit sunbathing. So, how long have you been here in Seville?
Yeah, we've been here 2 days. Lovely time, beautiful city.
Have you visit any monuments, the city center?
Well, we just got here late last night, so we can see the cathedral, which looks beautiful. But there was the end of the festival last night, and a lot of horses and the cattle coming through with a beautiful wagon behind. So yeah, the atmosphere is amazing.
It is so hot there, or that's okay for you?
Sorry?
Is it too hot there, or this is okay for you?
Coming from Ireland, I have to say we're a wee bit overcooked, but we'll manage.
Northern Ireland.
It's important.
We've had some really, really hot weather in the UK actually in the last week, which has conditioned the athletes and the supporters beautifully for these conditions.
What do you expect from the British team? What do you are supporting here? To who?
Well, I'm here supporting my daughter in the women's quad, and obviously this man here's daughter's in the Finola. She's in the quad along with her. So yeah, we're supporting them. We're supporting all the Team GB crews that are performing here today.
So, and you?
Yeah, so it's our first time at a World Cup. My daughter has just moved up to the senior team, and so we're really excited to be here, and yeah, we're really enjoying supporting everybody and getting to meet all the fellow family and supporters.
So good luck for them, because Spain hasn't have a women's squad, so good luck for them.
Well, just through the halfway mark, and once again a stunning performance from Netherlands, from the Dutch. We see Melvin Svella in the bow seat and Simone van Dorp in the stroke seat, with an early lead and maintaining that lead through the third quarter. It is this Dutch combination leading, same qualification, so top two to advance directly. Those are the two spots at stake. And then, well, a bit of open water, I'd say, back to the rest of the field. Great Britain keeping themselves in, currently running second, then back to Croatia, and of course the Sinkovic brothers taking on the double, and from there we're pretty tight between Switzerland, Germany, and back to Brazil.
Tenemos ya el paso de los 1000 metros con Holanda, una fuerte combinación de Holanda que domina la regata sobre Inglaterra y Croacia con los hermanos Sinkovic. Esperan unos 500 últimos metros donde se va a decidir esa posición, ese puesto de clasificación a la semifinal, sea por puesto o por tiempo. Se nos ven en una final de regata muy bonito.
So we'll look for times in just a moment when they pop back up for us, but we do know that these crews working their way, well, already through the third quarter and now moving into the final 500 meters. Once again, just awaiting those times to refresh for us, but the good news is that they'll be approaching the red buoy zone any moment, and we'll be able to spot them from the grandstand. And Richie, we understand you're on the course. Can we hear from you for a quick moment?
Yeah, sure. Just to give you an update, when they came through the 500 to go, it was the Dutch crew, as you said, leading it out here. This new combination, multiple medals, they're the ones leading it out. And it was the Great British crew at the moment, the head of the Sinkovich brothers. They were in second coming through 500, now pushed back into third. A lot of new combinations here. But as they come in towards the finish, it is the Netherlands leading it out from Great Britain. They're the 1 and 2. Let's see what sprint finish the Sinkoviches have. And then it is Switzerland, Germany and Brazil back in 4th, 5th and 6th. But no doubt about the leaders. All power to the multi-medalists across multi-squads and boats. The Netherlands leading it out.
Yeah, the Dutch combination leading, no doubt about it. It's an absolutely stacked category, the men's double for this international season opening. Olympic champions, world medalists, crossover stars from the single and the quad. And as we get a sense of our times and our speed back here on our speed system, we see that, yes, of course, the Dutch are still leading as they come through the grandstand up at 36 strokes per minute. It's the Dutch.
Parece que la tripulación, la fuerte tripulación de Nueva Zelanda, de Holanda, de los Países Bajos, para tomar la primera posición. Ahora, segunda posición, tenemos la tripulación de Inglaterra y lucha por esa tercera posición. Croacia, Alemania, Croacia, tercera y cuarta posición.
A fabulous job from Great Britain as well as they hold on to that second qualifying position. So a good push from Callan Dixon and Tobias Schröder. That's the 1-2. It is the Netherlands and Great Britain. Fantastic race start to finish for this Dutch combination. There'll be one to keep an eye on in subsequent rounds with Great Britain moving from third at the 500 down to then hold that qualifying second place position through to the line.
The second heat of the men's double sculls is on its way down to us here. We have Portugal, Netherlands 2, New Zealand, Czechia, Denmark and Poland. Poland, the world champions in the double from last year, as well as picking up 2 silver medals at World Cup 1 and World Cup 2 and that European Championship. So we're expecting them to do all the running here, both in the heat and overall as well. We'd expect that they're in the mix for the medals. They've gone through the halfway mark. Don't have any stats there on the data, but they're leading it out. It looks like ahead of the crew centre of the course. The New Zealand crew as well, Hammond and Mason. Such success last year as well, winning medals in the World Cup regattas, but maybe disappointing World Championship for them when they placed 8th overall. They're still in the mix here as well in centre of the course. Also the crew from Czechia and Poland, they're the 2 that are doing the running here. It looks like in the crews then from Denmark and from Netherlands and Portugal a little bit further off the pace. Sorry, as I say that, I spot the Portuguese crew and they're very much in the mix here. So it's Portugal, Czechia and Poland, the 3 crews leading it out, coming up to the 500 metre to go. The Portuguese crew right under the finish tower when they come your way. It looks like they might be just leading ahead of the Poles. Really solid 500 from them. So as they come through 500 to go, it is the Portuguese leading half a length ahead of Poland, 3/4 ahead of Czechia, and it's New Zealand back in 4th, Netherlands and Denmark.
Al paso de los 1500 vemos que el equipo portugués va en primera posición. También están el equipo de Chequia y Polonia. Polonia parece que está un poco más adelantada. Son los 3 equipos que van a luchar por las 2 primeras posiciones que clasifican directamente a las semifinales. Y bueno, al ser 24 equipos, los 2 primeros hay 4 eliminatorias, los 2 primeros de cada eliminatoria pasan directamente a las semifinales y los 4 mejores tiempos también pasan a las semifinales. Los siguientes tiempos pues ya serían a las finales C y D.
So finishes inside, impressive again. This young Portuguese crew, 20 and 19 years of age, putting it up here to the more experienced Polish crew. They're the 1-2 in the run into the finish.
Yeah, thanks, Richie, coming into the final 250 meters well into the red buoy zone. And our apologies with the technical issues. We can't show you on screen the speed, but doing our very best here. And of course, delighted to be able to watch this race conclude in the closing stages. An absolutely dominant performance from Portugal.
Sí, estamos ya a los últimos metros. Tenemos la tripulación de Irlanda, que está dominando, Inglaterra, Rumanía. Tenemos ahora una bonita llegada en estos momentos entre Chequia, Portugal, que parece que ser los ganadores, y ahí están.
With the crews then charging through the line, that Portuguese combination just on fire with, Poland on the far side and Czechia out of lane 2. Looks like we'll have unofficial times shortly, but looking good for Czechia and Portugal, and a good push from Poland. Such sufficient scullers, certainly in the quad and in the double as well. And it was Portugal to capture that first qualifying position, followed by Poland, with Czechia then taking third, ever so tight, 3/100ths of a second between Poland and Czechia. So fantastic push from all of these crews, but that's the 1, 2, 3. Portugal, Poland qualifying directly, then back to Czechia, just edged out. So we're delighted to bring you back to Heat 3 with the men's double sculls with our speed systems working. So Richie out on the water. It's looking like the early goings of this race will, it's pretty tightly packed, but looking good for the hometown favorites, España.
Hometown favourites leading it out here at 41 strokes per minute. I think they want to get out of this heat that we have coming up towards the second half of the race here and 12 noon. They're leading it out at the moment, coming through 500. It's the Swiss crew in second place, ahead of Lithuania, France, Germany and Netherlands in a third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Just 2 seconds separating first to sixth as they came through the 500 meter marks, all within striking distance. And again, just 2 crews to qualify, and then those times will be the factor about who gets into those semi-finals and who will have to race in final C and final D. So they're all within striking distance here, and similar rates as well. They've settled down now to sensible 37s, 38s, up in the 40s when they came through the 500 meter mark there. And it's still the Spanish crew leading it here. A lot of experience in these boats as well. new combinations as well, combining and bringing all that experience here. The Spanish crew previously raced in quads and in doubles, having been 8th and 4th at the World Championships last year, and this new combination doing well, leading it out, it looks like, as they come up towards the halfway mark. The Swiss crew as well, new combination, having raced previously. They did come 5th in the double at World Championships last year. They also raced in the mixed 8 and in the mixed double as well. So a lot of experience that they're calling on, and they're in 2nd place at the moment, ahead then of Lithuania in 3rd. They used to seeing them in A finals at the World Cups and at the Europeans as well. So very much in the mix here. Also, new combination from France in 4th place at the moment, having previously raced in the quads, now here in this lineup for the double. We're coming through the halfway mark, and it's Spain holding on. They have not extended the lead the exact same time between the 500-meter mark and the 1,000. It's 0.27 of a second back to Switzerland in 2nd place. They've opened up a slightly more of a lead over the French crew in 3rd, and they're pushing on now. France moving from 4th into 3rd, ahead of Lithuania, Germany and Netherlands. So it's all going to be about the 3 leading crews, Spain, Switzerland and France, with Spain at the moment getting the support from the bridge as they approach, coming to about 7:50 to go. They're leading it out, but they're not having it their own way, because Switzerland and France all putting pressure on them as they come into the second half of the race.
Bueno, pues otra eliminatoria que es un auténtico lujo por ver la igualdad de los competidores de estos 6 equipos, estos 6 equipos, que en 4 segundos pues están metidos todos en la lucha por los puestos, ¿no? Ya pasado los 1250, vemos que el equipo local, el equipo español de Conde Romero y Hortapombo, a un ritmo bastante elevado de paladas, pues se está imponiendo, y muy de cerca el equipo suizo. Están prácticamente casi a la par. Parece ser que estos 2 equipos por posición pasarán a semifinales, pero los equipos que vienen más atrasados están en una dura pugna. Y bueno, la verdad, otra regata realmente bonita que estamos contemplando.
500 to go, and you can hear the roar from the coaches as they make their way down towards the finish. Half a length is what Spain have over the crew from Switzerland. It's looking a little bit laboured in the Spanish crew. Have they done enough to secure the qualifying spot? We're seeing a response now from the Swiss crew. They take the rate right the way up, and I think they might challenge for the lead. Further back then to France, Germany, Lithuania and Netherlands off the pace, because there's clear water between our 2 leading crews in the chasing pack as they come down with about 300 to go. Spain doing all the running from the very start, but Switzerland starting to reel them in, and they'll hear those cowbells and the support from home. It's cowbells versus the local supporters here to see who's going to get the win between Spain and Switzerland.
Spain takes it up to 40 strokes per minute. Vaya, wow, bien ve.
Sí, espectacular el doble school, la nueva combinación de Caetano con Rodrigo, segundos 1000 espectaculares, llevándola en estos momentos aproximadamente 8 o 10 metros a la tripulación de Suiza. Pero miren también por la tercera, cuarta posición la lucha entre Francia, Lituania, Holanda y Alemania.
Dominant performance from the Spanish combination, now at 42 strokes per minute. Can the Swiss track them down? It's looking like the answer is no. Just absolute class in this category. The men's double sculls totally stacked, open to the international season for this 2026 year. We see the Spanish coming through the line, the Spanish 41 strokes per minute. The Swiss trying to track them down, but can they do it? Kai Schätzler and Ahmouda of Switzerland just able to get through, taking that second qualifying position. But yes, it is the Spanish. A job well done. They held start to finish through the line. It is Spain to finish first, our hometown heroes, followed by Switzerland in second, Kai Schätzler and Rafael Ahumada of Switzerland. And fantastic performance. France then coming in third, just edged out of those top 2 positions. We move on then directly into the men's double sculls, heat number 4. Richie, we're at halfway.
halfway mark, and not much has changed since they left the start and through 500. It's Serbia leading it out through 500 and through the halfway mark as well, ahead of Belgium in second place. Great Britain have moved from fourth into third just in the last few strokes coming up to the halfway mark, and moving ahead of Romania, who are now in fourth place, ahead of the neutral athletes, and Estonia back in sixth. So the last of the men's doubles here to see who will qualify into the semi-finals. Looking good for Serbia, who are well ahead now of the Belgian crew coming up under the bridge. And that's a good marker as well to know that they're just over 500 metres to go. They're centre of the course here in lane 4. Serbia, of course, a lot of success last season, and including the silver medal they won at the World Championships, 2 silver medals at the World Cup regattas, and the European gold. So they're an in-form crew and showing that form here because they're leading it out with about 600 metres to go. Serbia ahead of the Belgian crew in a new combination of single and double rowers from last year. Well used to AB finals as well, but they're in second place at the moment. And what a success for Great Britain with the bowman of the Great British Boat moving in from PR Racing into our racing here, and they're in third place at the moment, coming in with a 500 to go. So it is Serbia leading it out ahead of Belgium and Great Britain. They're the 1, 2 and 3.
Al paso de los 1500 metros, la tripulación serbia ya parece claramente que se va separando de sus rivales, aunque son seguidos muy de cerca por Bélgica. Luego ya para la tercera plaza hay una lucha muy reñida entre Gran Bretaña, el equipo neutral, y luego Rumanía, que también está ahí luchando. Ya un poco más descolgada tenemos al equipo estonio.
Lovely rowing from Serbia here in full control, centre of the course, able to look left and right and see what challenges were coming the way as they made their way down the track. But they are in full control here, and it's Belgium in second place, Great Britain in third. I'm sure they'll feature into the fast times as well. But all eyes on the Serbian crew as they come in towards the line.
Yeah, the silver medalists from the last World Championship last year in this exact event, Mashkovic and Pimenov, dominant start now into the closing stages of this race, 38 strokes per minute, and well, trying to make a bit of a push. Just next to them, it is Belgium. Those are our 2 front runners. Great Britain then under threat, currently in that 3rd position.
Últimos metros, veremos claramente la tripulación de Serbia, actuales subcampeones del mundo, con Bélgica. Estas 2 tripulaciones están clasificadas para las semifinales y posteriormente hay la gran lucha, como siempre, para obtener un excelente tiempo.
Well done to Serbia. Again, absolutely dominant performance. Machkovic and Pimenov through the line. A clean performance. And, well, yeah, Belgium just next to them. And a fantastic race start to finish for those 2 crews as the remaining come through. We'll get times here in just a quick moment, but 6:19.8 for this combination from Serbia, and then indeed over to Belgium and back to Great Britain, about 3.5 seconds off that winning pace. So that's the 1, 2, 3 for that men's double sculls heat. And well, it's a special moment for Spain, of course, to welcome World Rowing back to Seville. And I understand that Paulino is joined by 2 Spanish athletes down in the grandstand competing here on home waters. Over to you, Paulino.
Hi everyone, hola a todos. Aquí estamos con los hermanos Palomino, miembros de la selección española de remo. Buenas, ¿qué tal?
Buenas, ¿qué hay? Bueno, yo soy Juanmi, soy deportista del 4 sin timonel español, pero bueno, a causa de una lesión me pierdo esta cita e intentaremos llegar al Campeonato del Mundo. Y este es mi hermano Ramón.
Yo soy su hermano pequeño y soy remero sub-23, también he estado en la selección y este año aspiro a ir al Campeonato del Mundo o al Europeo. Y hombre, es una locura estar aquí en tu ciudad viendo de cerca a lo que aspiras a estar en cualquier momento. Al final esto es el nivel máximo que hay en remo y es impresionante.
¿Qué esperáis del equipo español? ¿Qué esperas del 4 sin, que iba a ser tu barco, Gori, Juanmi? ¿Qué esperas? ¿Cómo los ves? ¿Has estado con ellos antes? ¿Has hablado con ellos?
Sí, bueno, yo al final estoy de reserva, he estado con ellos en estos momentos antes de una regata, estás muy nervioso, pues tienes que intentar quitarle los nervios, naturalidad y demás, y yo creo que van a hacer un papelón porque al final jugamos en casa, tenemos nuestra afición más que nunca, vemos un montón de banderas de España y eso se nota un montón. Entonces yo creo que pueden hacer muy buen papel.
Thank you, Palominos brothers. They were saying they're both from the national team. The little one is under 23, the B category from the senior. He's rowing and preparing for the European, from the senior European. He was on the men's floor, but due to injury, he cannot be here. But he's supporting his team. He expects that the men's floor make the final, make a good paper here. So they are cheering up the Spanish crew too. So that's it. Thank you.
So straight back to the action here, and we're moving into the bigger boats. We have two heats coming down of the women's four. Heat one between Germany, Ireland, Hong Kong, China and Netherlands have gone through 500 and coming up on the halfway mark now. And it is the Dutch crew leading it out in lane 4. They've opened up a sizable lead ahead of the Irish crew in second place. Again, 2 to qualify here, so looking good so far from Netherlands and Ireland. It's some way back to Germany and Hong Kong, China in 3rd and 4th. So they're spread out fairly well compared to the smaller boat races that we saw, with all the overlapping coming through 500 and 1,000 meter mark through the halfway mark. The Dutch crew, 3 out of the 4 that came 4th in the 4 last year at the World Championships, here racing again. So slightly new lineup for the Netherlands, and it's paying off because they are in control of the race here. A similar new setup, 2 out of the 4 from the Irish boat. Back the Irish 4 came 9th at last year's World Championship, and it's 3 and stroke. Claire Ferrick and Natalie Long, part of that crew, now bringing in Emma Fagan and Imogen Magner in the 2 and bow seat, and they're in second place. These two crews looking in control ahead of Germany and Hong Kong, China, with 2 to qualify. It's in the Netherlands and Ireland.
Bueno, esta es la primera eliminatoria del 4 absoluto femenino. Ahora va a haber un total de 8 equipos inscritos. Se han hecho 2 eliminatorias de 4 y 4. Los 2 primeros de cada eliminatoria pasan a la final A y los 2 mejores tiempos también a la final B. Y a partir de estos tiempos ya pasarían a la final B. Vemos una regata, la verdad, pues bastante diferenciada de unos a otros. Parece que no estuvieran casi ni compitiendo en la misma regata. Hay mucha diferencia. Ya vemos, por ejemplo, a Holanda con una superioridad absoluta. Acaba de pasar ahora mismo por la línea de los 1.500 metros. Ahora lo hará el equipo irlandés, que se clasificaría directamente también a la final A. Y ya luego, un poco más rezagado, vamos viendo tanto al equipo alemán y ya bastante más atrasado al equipo hongkonés. Diríamos que es una regata que desde el principio a fin, pues digamos que no ha tenido historia, más después de haber visto estas regatas anteriores en las que ha habido tanta igualdad.
So down with just over 300 meters to go. The Dutch crew in full control here. They're absolutely powering. The boat is lifting out of the water, and they have a beautiful run on it as they come in towards the finish. Names we're very familiar to seeing in the finals and on the medal podium as well. Vos, Cleverling, Van Aanholt and Offereins of the Netherlands leading it out ahead of the new combination from Ireland in second. These two looking good, and then it's further back to Germany and Hong Kong, China, but looking good so far, Netherlands and Ireland.
Yeah, Tinka Offereins of the Netherlands in the stroke seat, the Olympic gold medalist in this very boat class. And of course, in the 2 seats with her, Clevering, Olympic gold medalist as well. Phenomenal power coming out of that Dutch combination.
Exactamente. Están confirmando su medalla, porque son campeonas de olímpicas, el equipo de Países Bajos, y ahora está Irlanda en segunda posición. Con eso pasarían directamente a la final A, y luego tenemos a Alemania con Hong Kong claramente en tercera y cuarta posición.
The Dutch looking so long and connected as they come through the line. They now move into their cool down strokes. And just behind them, we see Ireland up at their sprint sequence. So 41 strokes per minute, capturing that second qualifying position. Then closest to the grandstand, it is Germany. Germany rounding out their final few strokes. And then back to Hong Kong, China. A good performance from Hong Kong, China as well. Wang Yi in the bow seat will cross the line first from that combination. That's the heat one, first heat of the women's 4.
Straight back to the action here in the second heat. Give you the update. It's between Poland, New Zealand, Australia and Great Britain. Coming through the 500-metre mark, it was Australia leading it out from Great Britain, New Zealand and Poland. And nothing has changed through the halfway mark. It's still Australia leading from Great Britain, New Zealand and Poland. The crew from Australia, pushing on and extending their lead as they just come under the bridge there. Interestingly, they've two rowing associated names in there. Cox in the 2 seat, Rowe in the stroke seat. We're not playing rowing bingo just yet, but we'd get full marks there for this Australian crew. They power on. The British crew in second place at the moment, in holding off the challenge that's coming there from New Zealand and Poland further back off the pace. But I think it's going to be a race for the second qualifying spot here, because Australia in full control. The question is, can New Zealand put pressure on Great Britain and get in the mix for the second spot?
Al pase de los 1500 metros vemos a la tripulación australiana con una clara ventaja de un par de botes sobre el barco británico, que seguiría ahora mismo en dura pugna con las neozelandesas, que parece que se están acercando a ellas. Va a ser bonita la lucha final, la línea de meta entre estas dos tripulaciones de Gran Bretaña y Nueva Zelanda, que parece que va a ser muy disputada para ver quién accede directamente a la final A.
Australia in full control as they wind towards the finish here. All eyes on the Great British crew. I think they might have done enough to shake off the crew from New Zealand. Interestingly, these three crews all with the same rigging style, where stroke and bow are on the stroke side and 2 and 3 are on the bow side. As they come in towards the finish, red boys in sight. Really powerful display here from Australia in full control, and it looks like GB getting the better of New Zealand.
Yeah, GB getting the better of New Zealand at the moment, but New Zealand certainly keeping in touch, not to be left out, no doubt about it. The Aussies are up at the top, a cool 33 strokes per minute. And will Great Britain trying to shake off New Zealand? Can they do it?
Exactamente, tenemos claramente la tripulación de Australia en primera posición, pero atentos a la segunda posición entre Nueva Zelanda y Gran Bretaña. Solo 3 metros de diferencia entre ellos a falta de 150 metros para la llegada.
Oh, the Kiwis are moving. The Kiwis are moving just a touch quicker than Great Britain and able to get their bow just ahead of Great Britain. No one is touching the Aussies up at the top of the field, but it is ever so close between Great Britain and New Zealand, with a slight advantage to New Zealand. Great Britain with a response, but Australia continuing to hold. Do the Kiwis have it, or will it go to Great Britain as they charge through the line ever so close, then back to Poland on the far side? An absolutely stunning performance from Great Britain and New Zealand. We'll have unofficial times pop up in just a moment, but no doubt about it, it's the Aussies. And well, we'll keep an eye on the screen here to get a sense. It is New Zealand, the Kiwis, to take that automatic second qualifying position, with an ever so close Great Britain, and back to Poland running fourth to round out that heat. We'll stay with the fours, but move on to the men's fours, Richie, as they move through the second quarter.
First heat on its way down to us, and when they went through the 500-metre mark, it was the Romanian crew leading it out just on the surge of that stroke, Bo. They had the lead over France. They were the 1 and 2. Germany in third, Canada back in fourth, and then Lithuania in fifth place, a little bit further back, and the only crew not overlapping. They're coming up on the halfway mark, but it's a powerful display both from Romania and France as they come up. A lot of new combinations here. Again, some of them have competed last year in the 4. This new combination from France, racing in the 4 and the pair last year, where they featured in the A and B finals. So a lot of experience there in this new lineup that we have for France. And the Romanian crew, medals at the under-23 level, as well as coming second in the men's 4 last year. So a lot of experience there, and they're showing it here because they're leading it out through halfway. They continue to lead ahead of France. So it's Romania from France. Germany very much in the mix. New setup again here. Crews coming from the 8 and the 4 and the pair to combine into this new setup for Germany. They're in third ahead of the Canadian crew. Another new combination. So a lot of stuff being tested here at World Cup 1 here in Seville. well. They're just coming under the bridge. Still looking good though for Romania, and all eyes on France, Germany and Canada to see if they can get into the mix for second place. And it looks like as they come up to the 1500 meter mark, the Romanian crew push on again. And in lane one, maybe it's the French crew now starting to open up a little bit of a lead, but we're seeing responses from all the crews. We'll get that all-important marker when they come through with 500 to go. Romania in control here, able to look over on the right-hand side, but there's 4 boats within striking distance of them, including the French, who really are on a charge here, coming with 500 to go.
Al paso de los 1500 metros parece que la pugna por esos 2 primeros puestos va a estar entre Rumanía y Francia, que pasan a prácticamente parejas, y luego las otras 3 posiciones, que serían Alemania, Lituania y Canadá, están luchando duramente por ganar esas posiciones que les den acceso a la siguiente ronda. El 400 a ser 14 tripulaciones, ya sabemos, entran los 2 primeros de cada eliminatoria a la semifinal y luego por tiempos.
So it's impressive for the Romanian and the French crews. They've pushed out open water as they come down into 300 to go. They are clear now of the challenge that's coming from Germany, Lithuania and Canada. These 3 crews overlapping in 3rd, 4th and 5th, but they might run out of water. But in the big 4s, they need to start moving now if they're going to go up and challenge. But I think we're in for another sprint finish here, Colleen. They're into the red boys. Romania and France both up in the high rates and powering to the line.
Wow, absolutely incredible push from France, stroked by Theo Reye in 43 strokes per minute. He has them going out just barely to overcall the Romanians, but Romania with an answer.
Bonita lucha por la primera posición, primera y segunda posición, pero miren ustedes qué bonito es el remo con las tercera, cuarta y quinta posición que luchan por esa clasificación por tiempos.
Romania didn't like that push from France, and they do have an answer indeed. Just absolutely incredible. Leontin Nitescu holding down the stroke seat for this Romanian combination, up at 46 strokes per minute. Such proficient sweep rowers. France, a fantastic effort there at the end that captures that second place position with a good effort to see if they could take on Romania, but Romania held. That's the 1-2. It is Romania and then France. Those are the top 2 qualifying positions, and 3rd Lithuania. So once again, the next 6 fastest times of the remaining crews will go to the semi-finals. So certainly in your best interest to keep the pace up there. That's heat 1 of the men's 4. We move on then to the second heat of the men's 4, which is well underway.
Well underway in the second heat, we have Czechia, Poland, neutral athletes, Denmark and Netherlands racing this one. And as they came through the 500 meters, it was the Dutch crew leading it out ahead of Denmark. They were the 1 and 2 neutral athletes in 3rd. Poland in 4th and Czechia in 5th. A similar story to what we've seen in earlier races, where there's a lot of new combinations here, including this Polish crew and the neutral athletes, Denmark and Netherlands, all new lineups here against the crews that are racing in the second heat. So Netherlands come through the halfway mark ahead of Denmark. They're the 1 and 2, just about. And then the neutral athletes, can they hold on to 3rd? Barely ahead of the Polish crew. They are pushing on again ahead of Czechia. So a lot of activity here in the mix. It's only the Czechia crew really off the pace. Poland, a little bit of work to do to get back. But halfway through the mark, it's Netherlands leading out ahead of Denmark and the neutral athletes.
Claramente el equipo de Países Bajos se destaca del resto de los competidores. En segunda posición estaría ya Dinamarca, pero prácticamente a casi 4 segundos, con lo cual el primer puesto estaría claro. Pero luego, bueno, hay una lucha muy bonita por esa segunda posición entre el equipo danés, que antes hemos mencionado, y el equipo de deportistas neutrales, que estaría junto con Polonia luchando por acercarse a Dinamarca, aunque Dinamarca esté algo lejos. Ya algo más descolgado estaría Chequia. Lo vemos acercándose ahora mismo a la posición de 1500 metros y vemos al equipo holandés con esa remada fácil, con esa remada fluida, que parece que no les cuesta, y luego ya vemos los otros equipos más atrasados, un poquito más atrasados, Dinamarca luchando contra equipos neutrales y Polonia.
So this Dutch crew leading it out by Clearwater, multiple medals again across multiple boats in the last number of seasons. New combination here, and they come through with 500 going. They've been nearly a length and a half, 2 lengths of Clearwater. Back then to the Danish crew in second place. This new combination from Denmark as well. They've just the narrowest of margin of Clearwater back to the neutral athletes in third place. And again, there's overlap then back to the Polish crew. Just to mention the stroke of the Polish crew, Mikael Zabigowski made his debut at 2006 at the under-19s. That's over 20 years ago, and here he is still competing and leading from the stroke seat for the Polish crew. Down out to the run-in towards the finish. Nothing really has changed the whole way down the course. They set out how the race was going to run from that first few hundred meters. It's the Netherlands and Denmark, the 1 and 2, being chased down by neutral athletes, Poland and Czechia.
Yeah, this Dutch combination, this retooled Dutch crew, certainly very strong. 3 of the 4 with medals at home from the last World Championship, and coming together, as you say, a new combination, 35 strokes per minute against everyone else's 40.
Tremendo el potencial del equipo holandés, que está dominando claramente la prueba. La Dinamarca luchando también, acercándose a Holanda por esta segunda plaza. Países, los deportistas, países neutros, tercera, cuarta y quinta posición. Muy escalonado la clasificación.
Well, no one's touching the Dutch, but Denmark putting on a bit of a sprint here, up at 38, 39 strokes per minute. That's the 1-2, fantastic racing from the Dutch and from Denmark as well to take those top 2 qualifying positions. The Netherlands, well, they got out early and they never looked back. Just fantastic horsepower in that combination, and it served them well. Individual neutral athletes then just edged out of a qualifying position, and as we've said, the next 6 fastest times for the remaining crews across all of the heats have a chance to move on to the semifinal. But for now, the Netherlands and Denmark automatically qualify. Well, as we've said, the men's coxless 4 field here in Seville feels wide open with the exception of Great Britain. So behind Great Britain, who Richie arrive as the reigning world champions and whom we'll see in this heat.
They had a stealthily approach to that gold medal at the World Championship because they hadn't raced before the new combination. Some of the crews, part of the boat race crews, but then combining for the trials and then coming over to dominate that World Championship and win the men's 4 and win it well. They're leading it out here ahead of the New Zealand crew in second place. Ahead. This New Zealand crew, again, it's a new combo here. We've some of the under-23s who've raced in the 4 and the 8 now coming together into this new crew. They're in second place, just ahead of the German crew. Previously raced in under-23s in the 8's bow pair, and in the 3 and stroke seat they came 15th in the men's pair last year, so they're shaking things up in Germany as well with this new combination. They're in third at the moment ahead of the local Spanish crew. 3 out of the 4 crew came 16th in the 4 last year at the World Championship, so I'm sure they're looking to make a mark here. But no doubt about the leaders halfway through. It's Great Britain leading it out. The Great British crew there of Graham Robson, de Graaf and Bourne, gold medalists, as we said, from the World Championship, in full control of the race in lane 3, centre of the course. and they are leading through the halfway mark. New Zealand not able to keep up at the pace of Great Britain because they push further back into second place, and they're just about holding off the German crew. So I think, again, similar to some of the races we've seen earlier on, it's going to be a race for second place because Great Britain in full control, and really it's going to be a battle between New Zealand and Germany to take that second qualifying spot. Spain further back, the new development crew in fourth place off the pace, so it's turning into a race really between New Zealand and Germany. They're coming under the bridge, lots of support from there and on the embankment as well, cheering them on, but no doubt about the leaders here. Great Britain continuing how they went at the end of the 2025 season as they take the lead and hold on to it well.
Cerramos con esta regata, la última eliminatoria del 4 absoluto masculino, y bueno, lo que se puede ver claramente es la enorme superioridad del equipo británico, que llega prácticamente a los 1500 metros con 2 botes y medio sobre Nueva Zelanda, que también se va imponiendo muy cómodamente sobre el tercer y cuarto competidores, que serían el equipo Alemania 2. Y ahora vemos que el equipo español acaba de rebasar a Alemania, y bueno, el equipo español es un equipo de muchísimo futuro, donde van unos grandes remeros, y de aquí de Sevilla Javier Nave, que es un fantástico remero, y esperamos que se recupere Juan Miguel Palomino pronto de su lesión y pueda estar en ese bote.
Impressive from the New Zealand crew because they've pushed out into second place and opened up a lot of clear water ahead of the German crew, who have gone back from into third, back into fourth position, and really are struggling with the pace now. And it's the Spanish crew allowing them to move into third. And let's see if they can get one of those fastest times. Huge support for the Spanish crew as they come in towards the line. But Colleen, what a display we're seeing here from the Great British crew. George Bourne in the stroke seat, stroking it from the bow side, dishing it out and being backed up as they run in towards the line.
Yeah, absolutely dominant performance for this combination, which, I suppose we expected, right? It's the same. This group has stayed together as a unit while all other nations have entered this event with new lineups. So good to see Great Britain. The GB fans will be absolutely delighted as they approach the line.
Sí, tenemos a Gran Bretaña en primera posición, grandes especialistas en esta modalidad, dominando la regata. Nueva Zelanda está manteniendo la segunda posición. España ha hecho unos segundos 1000 espectaculares para luchar por esa tercera plaza y a ver qué tal los tiempos.
And the job is done for Great Britain now through the line to capture that qualifying spot, followed by the Kiwis. The Kiwis take it up to 39 strokes per minute, stroked by Fred Vavasauer. Just behind him, Campbell Crouch. And the Kiwis, they'll go straight through to the next round. And hometown favorites then, Spain, closest to the grandstand, followed by that second German combination. And, events like this don't just happen without volunteers working behind the scenes. And I understand that Paulino has been catching up with some of the people helping make this World Cup possible. Paulino, over to you.
Hello everyone, hola a todos. Pues sí, efectivamente aquí estamos con 2 voluntarias que hacen posible que esta Copa del Mundo aquí en Sevilla se desarrolle. Bueno, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis?
Hola.
Hola.
Bueno, contarme un poco qué hacéis aquí exactamente, qué os ha tocado hacer a cada una.
Pues ayudar un poco lo que nos mandan y poco más.
Hemos estado en consignas algún día y hoy estamos en la zona vigilando quién entra y tal.
Perfecto. Y vosotras las dos que sois remeras de aquí de Sevilla, ¿cómo veis al equipo español? ¿Qué esperáis de las tripulaciones?
Hombre, pues yo veo bastantes tripulaciones con bastantes posibilidades y algunas que van a pelear hasta la final, lo que sea.
¿Y cómo es trabajar en la Copa del Mundo, ver a vuestros ídolos, a vuestros deportistas, en el que algún día espero que vosotras estéis remando?
Pues la verdad que motiva mucho a seguir trabajando y dándole duro.
Hey everyone, here for 2 volunteers that make possible the World Rowing Cup here in Seville. These 2 girls row in the same rowing club here in Seville, in Real Círculo de Labradores, and she's in the national team too. They both have in the consigne in the VIP area, watching out for no introducers, false introducers. So here they are very happy because they are admire these rowing athletes that are rowing here now. So maybe one day they will rowing here, not in Seville, maybe in another World Cup. So thank you, everybody. See you.
We're down with 5 races to go before we take the lunchtime break and then come back with the quarterfinals of the men's single sculls. And to round things out, we're going to have the quad races, starting with the women's quad. And in Heat 1, we've Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, France and Romania. Coming through 500, it's the Romanian crew, just on the surge, leading ahead of Australia. They're the 1 and 2. Netherlands were 3rd, France were 4th, and New Zealand were 5th. But really 1.7 seconds separating 1st to 5th in the first heat of the women's quad. So all to play for. 2 to qualify again, and then we'll have 2 of the crews fastest will go into the A final. The rest of the crews going into the B final. Looking good for Romania so far through 500, but really stroke rates and boat speed is very similar between all the boats. So they're just starting to stretch out a little bit coming through the second 500, and we'll see that halfway mark they're coming up on now how things are playing. It does look like it's still the crew from Romania leading then ahead of Australia and New Zealand. They're the 1, 2 and 3. France now settling into 4th ahead of Netherlands. Netherlands going from 3rd to 5th by the looks of things over the last few hundred meters. So they'll have work to do if they want to get back into the mix here and see if they can get into the qualifying spots. Looking good for Romania, as I said, continuing their streak. Really, three out of the 4 of this quad came 4th in the quad last year. So they have multiple medals across many different boat categories over the last number of seasons, bringing all that experience here, and it can show that's why they're leading out the first heat of the quad. The New Zealand crew, a new combination coming from the quad and the 4, and also got some experience racing in the mixed 8 last year at the World Championships. They're currently in 2nd place, doing their best to maintain the speed of the Romanian crew. They're the 1 and 2. Australia being pushed down now into 3rd place. So the Australian crew containing some of the under-23 crews as well. Romy Cantwell, a bronze medalist at the under-23s in the single, now racing here as part of the quad. They've been pushed down into 3rd place, with France and Netherlands still holding on to 4th and 5th. And it looks like maybe the Dutch crew well off the pace here, as France are as well. So it could be down to these 3 crews being led by Romania. Coming under the bridge, it's Romania, and they're looking in fine form here ahead of New Zealand and Australia. They're the 1, 2 and 3. And the French crew just trying to come back, as indeed are the crew from Netherlands. So maybe there's a lot more to play for that 2nd spot as they come down with about 600 meters to go. No doubt about the leaders. Romania leading it out with a charge from the other 4.
Primera de las 2 eliminatorias del 4 School absoluto, en el que vemos que la tripulación de Rumanía ya va a pasar en primer lugar, además bastante destacada. Van remando muy fácil, sencillo, parece que hasta desahogada. En segundo lugar pasaría Nueva Zelanda, pero ojo que Australia y Francia le están pisando los talones y tampoco va Holanda muy descolgada. Creo que vamos a ver un final de regata espectacular, y recordar que las dos primeras tripulaciones de cada eliminatoria pasan directamente a la final A y luego los 2 mejores tiempos. Así que hay que tirar hasta el final a tope.
Very dominant display from Romania as they wind up towards the line. The New Zealand crew are the ones leading it, but 3/4 of a length was only the gap that they had from the chasing pack. Australia, France and the Netherlands all doing well in the last 500 to get back into contention. So it's Romania looking good. Colleen, I can't call it between the others. Can New Zealand hold on?
Yeah, New Zealand, what a dominant second half for them. They were 5th at 500, down 2nd at the halfway, and they've continued to hold on to that 2nd place position. New Zealand continuing to prioritize the quad early in this Olympiad, and well, it's paying off for them. Romania leads, New Zealand running 2nd.
Potente equipo el rumano, que va a ganar esta eliminatoria con cierta claridad, y bonita lucha de Nueva Zelanda con Australia y Francia. Nueva Zelanda ha tomado una ligera ventaja sobre Nueva Zelanda y Francia, pero bonita lucha para el 3er y 4er lugar en esta modalidad.
Romania takes it up to 41 strokes per minute. Laura Dumitru of Romania, quickest, well, not quite quickest moving boat on the course, because they don't need to be. They're up at the top of the field. They're long, they're relaxed as they come through the line. The Kiwis hold on to it, but you see the Aussies trying to make a run for it. France as well, but it looks like New Zealand will capture that automatic 2nd qualifying position. And well, we'll have to get a sense of times. The next two fastest times of the remaining crews will advance to Final A, with the other crews to Final B. Top two automatic qualifiers, though, it's Romania and New Zealand. Well, Richie, we understand the next heat of the women's quads are well underway.
Well underway and through 500, and it is the GB crew who are leading it out, coming through the 500-meter mark. Just on the surge, though, because stroke for stroke and boat speed by boat speed, they are matched by Canada, Poland, Germany, and it's only the Swiss crew that are a little bit further back, but still within a boat length as they went through 500. Then they came through just in the last minute, or sorry, the last second. They've gone through the halfway mark, and it's still GB leading it out. They've barely extended the lead over the German crew, though, so it's GB leading from Germany. The German crew moving from fourth into second place in the last 500 meters, pushing Canada down into third, and the Polish crew back into fourth, and Switzerland in fifth. They're starting to spread out a little bit, but still overlap between the leading crews. We'll see what Great Britain can do to hold on to the lead that they're opening up from the first quarter of the race here. New combination here, the bow 2 and 3 came second in the quad last year at the World Championships, and in at the stroke seat, Finola Stratton, who came first in the under-23s in the quad. So slightly new combination for GB, and it's working well because they're leading it out. The German crew in second, multiple medals again across different disciplines, and this new combination coming together in the quad. They're in second place. The Canadian crew, very similar. Some of them made A-finals in last season, so a lot of experience being brought into that boat as well. And Poland, a new combination here from the crew that came seventh at last year's World Championship. They're about 550 meters to go, and it's still GB leading it out, but just by about half a length, I'd say. Now it is the German crew establishing themselves in second, and they're trying to shake off the crews from Canada, from Switzerland, and from Poland as well, back in third, fourth, and fifth. Through 500 to go. It is it is Great Britain leading it out, half a length ahead of Germany, who in turn have 1 length over Canada.
Bueno, regata muy bonita en la que Gran Bretaña está enseñando su poderío en la modalidad. Luego muy cerca va el equipo alemán, pero también Canadá está apretando y vamos a ver un final de regata muy bonita, sobre todo en las 3 primeras posiciones, aunque la primera, como acabo de comentar, está clara por Gran Bretaña, y ya algo más descolgadas estarían Suiza y Polonia, que parece que tendrían menos opciones. Recordar la importancia de hacer un buen tiempo, porque si no entras segundo puedes entrar por tiempos.
So finish line is in sight for the crews as they wind their way in. GB holding on, and let's see what charge comes from Germany and Canada.
Yeah, Great Britain arriving as the clear favorite after a strong finish to the 2025 season, and putting on quite a show now as they cruise into the final stages of this race. 36 strokes per minute. Closest to them is Germany, but would take quite a bit of work from Germany to catch them. At the moment, though, they don't need to. That's the 1-2 in Germany, able to push back Canada.
Llegada muy escalonada con el equipo de Gran Bretaña, primera posición, Alemania, segunda posición, clasificarían directamente para la final A, y después tenemos la lucha Canadá y Suiza por esa tercera posición, y un poquito más atrasados Polonia.
Great Britain in the closing stages, 37 strokes per minute. And yeah, quite a push from the Germans. Not enough to track down GB, but once again, they don't need to. That's the 1-2 as they come nice and clean through the finish with the remaining crews in their final strokes as well. So Canada just edged out, then over to Switzerland and Poland closest to the grandstand. Great Britain and Germany, the automatic qualifiers.
Back to the action to close out this morning's racing at day one of a World Cup 1 here in Seville. And we are winding out the morning session with 3 races here coming up in the men's quadruple sculls. I'll be honest here, I've skin in this next game because one of my clubmates, Ryan Spellman, is in the Irish crew racing in Heat 1. In Heat 1, we've Great Britain, New Zealand, Ireland, Poland and Croatia. A lot of new combinations, a lot of experience coming into all of the boats that are here. Coming through 500, it was New Zealand leading ahead of Poland. Ireland were in 3rd place ahead of Croatia and Great Britain. But really, 0.75 separating the first 5 crews. Absolutely nothing between them. And a little bit has changed now as they come through the 500. The Croatian crew moving from 4th place into 1st. They've now taken the lead. The Polish crew holding on to 2nd. The Irish holding on to 3rd. Great Britain moving up into 4th. But the New Zealand crew running into trouble. Really solid first 500. Now they're back in 5th position. Again, very little between the crews, so they're all within striking distance of each other as they came through that halfway mark. Similar boat speeds and similar styles on the rates as well, 38, 39 strokes per minute as they come up to that bridge over the course coming in towards the second half of the race here with about 850 metres to go. It's still Croatia, really solid 500 from them, leading it out ahead of the crew from Poland in 2nd place. A lot of under 23s racing here. The Irish combination, a new combination, Conan Pataya in the stroke seat, raced in the single last year, now in this boat. Ryan Spellman coming back from Oxford Brooks to join the Rowing Ireland setup, along with Martin O'Grady, who had under 23 success in the double bronze medal last year. And the only survivor of the boat from last year, Andrew Sheehan, from the last year's World Championship crew here, back in the Irish crew again. They're coming up with just over 600 metres to go and very little between the crews, but Croatia just about holding off the crew that's inside them. It's Croatia, Poland, and then the Great British crew now getting the better of Ireland, coming in with 500 to go.
Preciosa regata la que estamos viendo, en que las 3 primeras posiciones, pues a los 1500 metros han entrado prácticamente en un segundo, sin olvidar al cuarto equipo Irlanda, que está cerca. Y Croacia, Polonia 2 y Gran Bretaña nos están brindando una regata excelente. Vamos a ver un final de regata muy bonito, básicamente ya sabemos, son 3 eliminatorias. Los 2 primeros de cada eliminatoria pasarán a las semifinales y los 6 mejores tiempos también. Así que es bueno hacer buen tiempo por si entras en la semifinal, no por el puesto que has tenido la regata.
Impressive here from the Croatian crew. They push on again. They've opened up the lead just in that second half of the race, ahead of Poland in 2nd. Great Britain really charged past the Irish crew there to take 3rd. We'll see what response we can get from the Irish crew. And it's New Zealand well off the pace, back in 5th at the moment. All to play for the qualifying, but looking good for Croatia. The question is, how will Poland hold off that challenge that might come the way of Great Britain and Ireland?
Even Talaya in the stroke seat for Croatia, the 21-year-old still rowing at the U23 level, and no pressure, just behind him, the 37-year-old legend, Damian Martin.
Bonita llegada, veremos la lucha por la primera y segunda posición. Parece mantener Croacia esa primera posición. Seguimos, Inglaterra toma en estos momentos segunda posición y estos 2 botes clasificarían para el semifinal. Tercera posición para Polonia.
Incredible finish for Croatia. Croatia, again, 4th at the 500 down. Big second quarter, a little bit of a patient start, and, well, to finish first with Great Britain, that strong combination that we mentioned just behind them. And those are the top 2 for the direct qualification spots, with Poland 2 taking 3rd, just edged out. 1 and 2, again, directly qualify next 6 fastest times to the semi-final, and then back to Ireland to take 4th. And the home crowd has plenty to cheer for this weekend. We understand that Paulino is down with the Spanish women's pair.
Yes, I'm here, Colin. Hola, buenas a todos. Estamos aquí con el dossing femenino de la selección española. Bueno, ¿qué tal? Lo primero de todo, enhorabuena a las dos. Habéis clasificado para la semifinal. Bueno, ¿qué tal las sensaciones? ¿Cómo ha ido la regata?
Pues la regata ha sido una regata muy dura, muy larga, porque desde que hemos salido hasta que hemos entrado prácticamente hemos estado con el dossing de Dinamarca y bola con bola. Y ya pues quien ha tenido más ganas de entrar en la semi por posición hemos sido nosotras.
¿Y tú qué tal, Lidia?
Muy bien, pasé el primer campeonato y eso muy bien disfrutado y desde el principio con mucha confianza las dos.
Antes, Lidia, estaba hablando con tu hermano pequeño, con tu abuelo, que han venido a verte. Estamos muy ilusionados por verte, por ser tu primera regata. Incluso tu hermano hasta se ha saltado clase para venir a verte.
Sí, sí, ahí han podido, como han podido, han venido todos y han aprovechado que es aquí en Sevilla y pues nada, han venido con todo.
Eso es. Nada, simplemente desearos mucha suerte para las regatas venideras. Mañana creo que tenéis la semi, ¿no? Si me equivoco. Eso es. Y nada, muchísima suerte a las dos y a tope con España. Hello, everybody. I'm here with the women's pair. They were saying that the race was tough with the women's on Denmark, bow to bow. And Amanda told me that the pair with more attitude was they will be able to win and to get classified to the semi-final. Lydia told me as well that her little brothers and her grandfather was here and jumping a little bit of places. So World Cup here is very tough. So everybody, good luck to each other. Buena suerte a las dos. Y see you tomorrow. See you after.
Straight back to the action here. We're on Heat 2 of the men's quads, our second last race of this morning's session. They're already through the halfway mark and coming up on 15 to go. Good news for the local supporters. Spain are leading it out, and they were through the halfway mark ahead of Germany, Uruguay, Belgium and Estonia. Very little between all the crews. They were overlapping, and we'll see now, have the Spanish crew held on to the lead. I think on the inside of them, it might be the crew from Germany that have opened up a lead now, coming up to 550 to go. The Germans leading it out half a length ahead of Spain. Further back then to the crew from Estonia have done well to move back into third. They were back in fifth place earlier on, but 500 meters to go. It is Germany leading now, 3/4 of a length ahead of Spain and Estonia.
Por los 1500 metros parece ya que el equipo alemán ha apretado al acelerador y se han colocado en primera posición, seguido muy de cerca por el equipo español. Creo que vamos a ver un final de regata también muy bonito, ya que Estonia está pisándole los talones al equipo español. Y bueno, Uruguay tampoco está lejos, ni siquiera Bélgica, que están relativamente cerca. Y lo dicho, Alemania dominando y una lucha muy cerrada que vamos a ver por esa segunda posición.
A perfect chevron coming down towards you there, Colleen, being led by centre of the course, Germany, leading it out with 2:50 to go.
Germany leading, but Spain. Will it be Spain or Estonia, BMV?
Yes, aquí está la gran lucha por esa segunda posición entre España y Estonia. En estos momentos una ligerísima ventaja para la tripulación de Estonia, pero todavía quedan 250 metros, nos separan escasamente 2 metros de esa clasificación por puestos en esa lucha con Estonia.
And Estonia putting on just a push here at the end to edge Spain just a bit back. Germany holding on to the lead as we see them charge through these final 20 strokes. Germany up at 40 strokes per minute. Spain takes it up to 44, but Estonia holding on to that second qualifying position. Absolutely dominant for Germany in this piece. And yeah, it is Estonia just behind them. A great effort from Spain. And well, Belgium through the line closest to us, and on the far side, Uruguay. So Germany to take the win in this second heat, so to capture that first qualifying position. And indeed, it is Estonia, with Spain then taking third. Well, it's the last race before we break for lunch. It's Heat 3 of the men's quad. And Richie, they're through that first timing mark.
Through 500, and it's the Romanian crew that were just on the surge ahead of Poland. They were the 1 and 2 ahead of Netherlands, Czechia and Venezuela. Venezuela part of the development crews that have come over here in big numbers, racing in a lot of the quads, doubles and single races as well. They are in 5th place at the moment. Czechia just ahead of them. And then the top three, it was coming through 500, Romania, Poland and Netherlands. Again, multiple new combinations here for a lot of the crews racing in this quads race. The Polish crew third in the quad last year, third at the Europeans as well, so you'd imagine they're going to be ones to watch, but they're in second place at the moment, and it is the Romanian crew that had the better of them coming through with 500. They're just about to come up with about 100 meters to go to the halfway mark. We'll see how they get on at that all-important marker and timer for us, and we'll see who's leading it out. The Romanian crew really solid in lane 1, 39 strokes per minute, rock solid coming down the course and down towards that halfway mark, leading it out, tucked into lane 1, nearest to the finish tower in the enclosure when they make their way into the view of the grandstand and the crowds. Seems like there's a lot of activity and a lot of noise there. Still a few people up on the bridge cheering the crews on and following them down on the bike lane here as well, so it makes a big difference. Even though we are right in the city centre, it's great to have so much support at each of the viewing points as well. On the enclosure side, there's multiple areas where you can come out right onto the course and get the best bird's eye view of all the action that's there. Still, it's Romania leading it, ahead of the crews from Poland, Netherlands, Czechia and Venezuela. Venezuela a little bit further off the pace now, but I have to say, Romania, Poland, Netherlands and Czechia all within striking distance of each other as they come down under the bridge. A brief break from the sunshine here in Seville as they go under the bridge and maybe catch their breath for a second before the run into 750 to go, and that 500 meter mark is coming up shortly. Still, the Romanians push on. They're coming under increased pressure though from the Polish crew, and it might be the Polish crew coming up to inch Ed into the lead, as indeed the Dutch are putting on a big push here as well to try come back into contention, taking with them on the inside the crew from the Romanian crew, still matching them as they come in. So we've 4 boats here battling it out for 2 spots to round out racing for the day. Coming through 500, we're going to get a blanket of bows coming across because it's just the Dutch opening up now, half a canvas lead ahead of Romania, and they turn have a canvas lead over the Poles and Czechia. So 4 crews very much in the mix here.
Bueno, pues una regata de regalo para el espectador, porque vemos que a los 1500 metros la igualdad es máxima, sobre todo entre Países Bajos, que va primero, Rumanía, que va segundo, pero seguido muy de cerca tanto por Polonia y por Chequia. La verdad es que es una regata preciosa que nos va a hacer disfrutar a todos ese final de regata que vamos a ver.
So down to the last few strokes before they hit the 250 meter mark. All to play for here was the Dutch crew, timing it in the last 500 to take the lead. But have they had that lead, and can they hold on to it coming in? The Romanian crew, Poland and Czechia, all within striking distance. 250 to go. Netherlands leading it out. How's it looking now, Colleen?
It's looking so tight for that second qualifying position. The Dutch seem to have it, but will it be Romania or Poland?
Exactamente, vamos a ver con la ventaja que lleva Holanda en estos momentos para la primera posición. La lucha está con la segunda y tercera posición entre Rumanía y Polonia. Están igualados a falta de 100 metros para la llegada.
Romania with an answer from this charge from Poland on the far side. Romania increasing the stroke rate to 47 strokes per minute. The Dutch hold at a cool 40 against that 47. The Dutch have it, but wow, what a sprint from the Romanians. And that does mean that this Polish combination, the only unchanged unit in the event this season, just edged out of an automatic qualifying position. But a great showing from the Netherlands, indeed, back to Romania to capture that second qualifying spot, and a good push from Poland, so proficient in the quad. They get edged out to take third. Well, thank you so much for such a fabulous morning of racing. It's been just an absolute delight to kick off the weekend here in Seville. That brings us to the end of the morning's racing session. And before we head to the lunch break, a sincere thank you to all of the athletes, the coaches, officials, volunteers, and event staff, so many of whom we heard from with Paulino down in the grandstand, who make a regatta like this possible. And of course, we'd like to also thank our commentary team, our production crew, and everyone else working behind the scenes to bring the action to rowing fans around the world. We'll break for lunch, and we'll be back later today with more racing from the opening day of the 2026 World Rowing Cup and international season. And until then, enjoy the break, and we'll see you back here shortly from Seville.
Espectacular el cierre de la jornada. Gracias, Colin, gracias a todo el equipo. Hemos visto regatas muy bonitas. Las tripulaciones favoritas demostraron por qué están en la cima. El público local celebró a lo grande los resultados de los deportistas de casa. Pero todo esto, toda esta organización de la Copa del Mundo, es momento de dar las gracias a la gente que está trabajando para que esto salga bien. A los oficiales de World Rowing, por garantizar una competencia justa e impecable. A todo el ejército de voluntarios, ustedes son el motor y el corazón de este evento en Sevilla. Sin su esfuerzo, nada de esto sería posible. Y a nuestro equipo técnico por hacer posible que esta retransmisión llegue a todos ustedes. Nos veremos a la tarde a las 2:04 con la cuartos de final del esquí masculino.